You are now listening to Out of the Blank.
Where there's nerds, there are men that are bigger than those nerds and beat the living crap out of them because they are alpha. And I'm here with all the betas. I'm here with Christopher Rourke, Evan Ewing, and myself.
Hey, you little bitch, give me your lunch money.
Apparently there's an alpha in the corner.
I'll give you a fucking swirly, you Poindexter dipshit.
Yeah, that's a great way to start off Revenge of the Geeks 3, isn't it?
Dude, imagine if people still talk like that. like, it's funny to think that is actually what people said to other
the
people
bullying you
at
see
one
on
point.
TV is completely different than the bullying you see
Nowadays. It doesn't exist anymore. It just doesn't.
Bullying?
Well, bullying.
I don't think bullying.
Bullying exists, not that kind of bullying.
No, there's bullying for sure. There's cyberbullying.
There's no fucking swirlies.
That's the worst.
If you get
you're
punched
not
in the face,
swirly anymore.
if you get punched in the face, you whoever punched you is going to jail or getting expelled.
You don't have to shout. I'm right beside you. Ooh.
Yeah, you fucking wedgie.
The difference is, see, there's no wedgies or swirlies anymore. There's actually, I think it's more of the fact that now everything's online. So the whole factor is, that's a worse type of bullying, I think. I'd rather get my head dunked in the toilet than getting some tweet written about me that's like Donald Trump, Jon Stewart can suck a butt. What?
Yeah, well, I mean, but
that's on the internet forever.
See, the thing is, now that's on the internet forever, but so is your reply of kiss my ass. I feel like cyberbullying is just a method
and that's when the kid goes to school and beats the living crap out of you.
Okay, and then
the people
families,
that's when they get expelled.
Yeah, families are sue crazy nowadays, dude. You could probably get a lot of money out of that kid.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
That's what I'm saying. If you just keep pushing back, eventually you're going to get physically injured, which is the best thing that could happen to you in that scenario. So, I mean,
I think the best thing that can happen to you in that scenario is you come out with a lot of money.
That's what I'm saying. Well, that's what the physical injuries come from. Because then it's oh, well, now I have the chance to take him to court for the stuff he said online, and he hit me.
Is this conversation fueled because you just had $1, what was it, popcorn shrimp and...
Popcorn chicken and smiley fries.
Smiley fries that were literally legit cut into smiles.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Gotta get them. Marketers know
What's
what they're
the
doing.
nutritional value in that?
Probably
stomach cancer?
Yeah, maybe, but
800% of your daily dose of sugar?
Calories for the poor.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what it should be called.
Poverty.
Poverty.
Has 7
calories.
grams of protein.
It had 7 grams of protein in it?
Yes, it did.
What was the calorie content?
I don't even know. I didn't look.
I don't even care about the calories. You're just looking at the protein.
That was the second thing I've eaten all day. And it's probably the
Because
last
you're doing
thing.
that damn fasting thing.
No, I ate cookout.
Did you stop
this morning.
fasting?
Yeah.
Did you stop? You're not doing it anymore?
I did
Did
stop.
you realize it was ridiculous?
No, I just kind of was hungry one morning and was I told myself I'm not really going to be fasting.
Cereal's too damn good.
If I'm not hungry, why should I eat? So I just wasn't eating. And then one morning I got hungry, so I just ate, and it broke the fasting cycle.
I think this extreme bang energy is what turned me into an alpha.
You hear that,
forevermore.
Well, it's for workout people. So
yeah. Got fucking
we should
amino acids and shit. It's a supplement. 0 calories.
A lot of people are uncomfortable talking about alphas and betas because they feel like those are actual classes and
it's
modern
not.
society.
Have you seen?
Well, modern society is more complex, right? But people focus on it. So my point is, why don't we sell an energy drink that's focused on all the people who are oh man, I'm a beta male. We sell them an energy drink that says alpha energy.
Turns you alpha.
Just, people would probably buy it.
Well, there's Joe Rogan's talked about this. There's 2 types. He had the guy Adam Conover who does Adam Ruins Everything on True TV. He had him on there talking about beta males and alpha males and what women are attracted to. Basically, because the stereotype that guys like a woman that has big hips, they kind of like a bigger woman because it's for birthing and all these natural processes. Mm-hmm. That's not true 100% of the time. There are some people that have
different tastes.
Different strokes for different folks.
Yeah, there you go.
But when you're coming into they want the stereotype that they want a masculine man who is going to take them and sweep them off their knees. Not every woman likes that. Some women like to take care of
Yeah, there's
somebody.
some powerful women that like to boss around their partners.
Yeah, so when you look at what the average beta male is, I feel like that's become the more back in the day it was always the jocks.
Mm-hmm.
Like that was the main popular thing. Like that's what our parents and our grandparents remember. You were either a cheerleader, you played football, or you were the cool kid in school. Now it seems like it's fallen more towards like musicians, at least in our area. It's like musician type people. And then now it's also, and you see in popular mainstreams, a lot of science and tech people are very, very like alpha now.
Mhm.
You don't hear about too many star like
Well,
athlete
alpha
jocks.
in the sense where they
have a
pulling
lot
in-
of money.
Yeah, like they're
Yeah.
pulling in more resources
Because
than
of their
everyone
brains.
else.
Like that dude that invented that stupid shirt company. What's his name? Something Cook, or yeah, well, he's a big fat ginger dating a supermodel blonde.
Oh, yeah,
I'm like,
yeah.
like you saw that Super Bowl commercial with that
It's
guy.
because-
kissing
Because
The
the-
now
real
she
things-
never has to work again for the rest of her life.
Exactly.
the real things that see, and again, this is different strokes for different folks, but if you look at like a study of a lot of women and like what they actually want compared to what they think they want, it's a guy who will provide for them for the rest of their life.
It's
right?
the same thing. You go and
After a certain period.
well, you walk by a car place and you see a Ferrari, and then you see like a Beamer. You know, you're going to be attracted to the Ferrari because of how it looks. But in the real eventual thing for it, the more reliable one is probably the Beamer.
Yeah, well, Ferraris catch on fire after like 20,000
Okay,
miles.
Yeah.
there's an article about my car catching on fire. I'm like, I can see it. I turn my car on. It's like risking it every single time. It's like
Yeah.
rolling the dice with the devil.
Exactly, dude. Yeah, but I think it's more of like maybe women realize that they have like a higher sexual market value earlier.
This is a
Hey,
good
guys.
topic for Revenge of the Geeks 3 because it's like nerds complaining about.
Yeah,
basically
I'm not complaining, dude. I have had my fair share. All right, like I'm good. I actually am
guys or girls.
girls. I'm
Are you
very.
against guys?
I'm against no one.
You homophobe.
Yeah, I'm afraid of everything, including gays. So I'm a homophobe.
Bet you shit.
We
I bet
were
you
talking
shave your
about
chest, don't
Yeah,
you?
we were
dude.
talking about how if you're not
Yeah.
if you're not allergic to pollen, which is tree cum,
Yeah.
you're gay.
Yeah, dude. If you're not allergic
Wait,
to,
wait.
Because
Yeah, some
you
people
have to
are
be
not
allergic
allergic
to
to
the gay
pollen.
cum.
if your body does not reject pollen, then you're gay.
Because it is cum. It's
And
tree
what
cum.
conspiracy theory? I'm into some conspiracy.
This is
shit.
my own conspiracy
Oh,
that
okay,
I've come
this
up
is
with.
yours. Like you fill your coffee up to a certain point, and there's no point.
Yeah,
for the
all
fucking
of the
lid.
weak liquid leaves my cup if I don't have a lid on.
That's why you're not drinking coffee right now. I can enjoy coffee, but you can't because I don't feel like cleaning up half your shit.
I don't feel like drinking weak liquids, so you know what?
They can
Those
stay out.
atoms can fuck up out of my cup.
Okay.
Don't need those weak molecular bonds in my fucking body, bro. I'm not having them.
But like, what's popular now on TV when it comes to nerds? Big Bang
I mean,
Theory. That's the one show that
Oh my
always comes to
fucking
my
God.
mind, dude.
See, that's popular like moms.
No,
to
that-
nerds,
that's-
kinda,
that's-
you know, like
That
What?
shit for normies, bro.
For normies,
Yeah.
am I a noob?
Yeah, bro.
How is Big Bang Theory like that?
Big Bang Theory is for normies who, like, laugh at geeks.
I don't.
But,
laugh
like,
at geeks.
don't actually know what geeks are.
I think the character of Sheldon is genuinely hilarious sometimes.
Yeah, me too.
Like
It takes it a little too far.
if you don't know where he's going next, it's actually funny. But like if you can predict like, oh, he's gonna be geeky here, you know?
well,
yeah.
the first season, like,
That's
they
like every
wrote
season.
him really well. Like, he was a real, like, autist. like, it was, like, real. Like, he
Yeah.
was a nerd.
Mm.
And
Well,
then, like,
It just seems like now, like you can tell. Like, have you seen it without a laugh track?
oh,
Yeah,
God.
it's
It's
really
so
awkward.
uncomfortable.
It's awkward as
It's like
fuck.
you can tell
dude.
they're supposed to be laughing right here.
No, I think one of like the best nerd stuff that's not very popular right now is like the Silicon Valley show and like *Halt and Catch Fire* and stuff, where it just goes over like Silicon Valley's like modern day sort of like coders and all that, and then *Halt and Catch Fire* is like the history of how computers were invented. Really,
You got Netflix, right?
I do.
Look up the Stanford prison experiment. The one that they just had. The new documentary that's on there is
Is
based
that
on
the
the real
one
prison
where
experiment.
college kids were pinned up, like some were security guards and some were prisoners?
Yes.
I went
Okay.
over that in sociology.
It was very, very boring for like the first hour, but I was hoping to do a fill in the blank on this. But like, it's really interesting to see how like you can definitely tell if you ask these people to play a certain part, some of them are gonna try and play that aggressive, like hostile alpha male type thing. You saw that one
well,
guy.
that's
like,
because they've never had power in their life before.
Exactly.
And they got power.
but it was like a sense of restriction. But like it was just weird to watch them like slowly through the thing started to turn and start beating the living crap out of each other. Like, you could tell things were going in that direction, like it was going to end up getting out of hand. But like the fact that like they're not letting them sleep, they're not letting them do anything, and these guys are on like
the
day
security
4
guards. The security guards went for pack mentality, and they were like predators, and then all of the prisoners who were helpless were prey. Like, you could tell, because I remember one scene instinctively, because I was sitting there thinking, like, damn, if I was locked in a room with a bunch of dudes, this would fucking suck. Like, this specific issue would suck. So the guy pulled out, like, a porno mag and started beating off in bed when he thought everyone was asleep. And then he was haggled against, and his social status was dropped in that group, right? But that wasn't the point that was bothering me. The point that was bothering me was, like, God damn, what if I had blue balls and I was stuck in a room with a bunch of fucking dudes? That would suck.
Imagine trying to take a shit.
Yeah, well, that's it. Well, security guards had their own bathroom. I'm pretty sure the prisoners were the ones who had to, like...
I'm talking about prisoners. Like, if you're a prisoner, imagine trying to take a shit.
You don't want to be signed up for the prisoner side, because you are legitimately signed up to be prey.
They
You
didn't
just
really,
don't wanna
they
be
didn't
a
really get a
prisoner
choice.
ever.
They were asked,
Yeah.
and they were kind of handpicked.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, you know, like, if you're asked and it's like, well, you could either be a prison guard or a prisoner. It's like, well, I don't want that 50% chance that I'm a prisoner, like, for fun. Like, I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
You know? So, I thought that was interesting how they went to, like, the pack mentality, and, like, whoever did embarrassing stuff was, like, dropped all of a sudden from, like, leadership positions, and then, like, you know.
What really interested me was the fact that, like, their mentality of, like, their sense of insane and being sane, like, it started to crack after a couple days. You started noticing the people that were, like, not used to being isolated or not used to being, like, deprived of certain things, and you could tell they were, like, slowly going stir crazy. Then watching them freak out and snap and have these mental breakouts. It's
There
like,
is...
imagine being in there for years.
Have you heard about what happened in, like, Guantanamo Bay and all that, when, like, they would have
the syphilis
Muslim
experiment, or
No, just what they did in general. You know, like, it was mainly they're isolated,
okay,
and the guards are, you know, well, first off, this is America post 9/11, very post 9/11, and early post 9/11, I guess. But it's at that point where the news media is always screaming, like, you know, towel heads are bad. You know, like
Jesus.
everything about Muslim bad right now, right? Because they just bombed the Twin Towers. So all the prisoners who were Muslim who were in there were receiving cruel and unusual punishment all over the place, and not like in the way that you'd think, like fuck you guys, like pulling hairs and all that shit. It's like they would just like line them up in like a cheerleader position, bent over, and like spank them with a paddle. It's like, what the fuck? And then you look later to find out that it was one dude who suggested it, who was popular amongst the people, and everyone else had the group mentality and said, you know what, I think that's a good idea. It's like the way that corporations are run. It's the way all this shit, like, you go to a board meeting in a corporation and you look at how, like, the CEO is like, yeah, well, we could dump the waste in the river that our local cows drink from, or we could spend X amount of money to go do this, but I'm really going with that dump toxic waste in the river. And then everyone around is like, oh, he's the big dog. I'm going to listen to Big Dog. And then they just go along with it. And now all of a sudden it's a group mentality. Everyone's thinking it's a good idea.
well, I
and
feel like
convincing themselves.
a lot of people are more wanting to be followers than leaders.
Yeah,
It seems like a leader's like those are take charge to certain types of people. There's obviously a certain breed of people in our in everyone's like genes, whether you want to take hold of a situation or run from a situation, like the fight or flight response.
Mm-hmm.
So usually, like, if you see like any type of TV show or something where there's a plane crash and a bunch of survivors on an island, there's usually one guy that steps up, starts getting a bunch of stuff, starts ordering people around, immediately consumes the boss position, and usually that's a position that they don't have in actual society today. Because they're not the alpha in society, they try and make up for it, and that's when it comes back to the alpha and beta thing.
Yeah, well, it's really more of like an inferiority complex more than anything. Like, because alpha beta goes out the window unless you are isolated like that. In which case, he's gonna like try to because he's inferior to everyone else in his regular day-to-day life, and he can't handle that. I, on the other hand, I'm pretty happy with my life. You know, whatever. If I had to take a leadership position, I haven't seen it. It's just I do it, and I try to make sure everyone in my group is happy. You know, and this isn't a brag. This is just an example of I don't really know many other people who do that. You know, I feel like there's a lot of people who think negative thoughts about themselves all the time, and if you really look at the people who are really in power, they're in power because they're psychopaths, and they don't really think about anything except for their hyper-focused goals.
Confidence is the biggest superpower. It's the closest thing to a real superpower that humans have.
I think the way you got to think about it is, if you had a society of men and a society of women, there's going to be, and the women, they're all going to work together and might progress 1,000 times better, like the Amazons, whatever.
Amazonians.
Yeah, Amazonians, all female.
Testosterone is dangerous.
Yeah, it is the fact that it is the competitive edge that guys have that women don't. If we had a woman leader, they'd be more caring for everyone. That's their whole thing, the nature-nurture aspect. At least in my mind, that's how I think of it, because they're more about taking care of the group and trying to sustain for the long run. When guys are like, we need this now, we need to focus on this, that's the weak leaving behind. A lot of them are like that. Yeah. That's when it comes to the aspect of beta males. There are more touch with the nurture side, too. If you look at, at least the stereotypical beta male, they're more protective and work on building an economy or building up a system rather than trying to just go out and get as much as possible and take as much as possible.
I got you. Yeah, I mean, at the same time, it's like that different strokes, different folks thing that you're saying, because at the same time, if there's a woman in power like Hillary, you could tell that she does not have a nurturing bone in her body. But if it was someone like...
she's also fallen on her head too many times. So.
Yeah.
I know there was another female candidate in the 2016 election. She was pretty
Sarah Palin?
Not Sarah Palin.
I can see Alaska or I can see Russia from my backyard.
She was actually pretty cool until she got paid off.
She was hot.
She was, oh yeah. She was gonna do good stuff. She was gonna do good stuff. She was like full libertarian for a while, and then all of a sudden she just turned the dial, and people assume that it's because she got paid off by someone, but it was the Tea Party was yeah, you know what, we're just going to be super libertarian Republicans, and then all of a sudden it was now we're going to claim to be alt-right. Hey, and it's where did this come from? Yeah, where the fuck did that come? Anyway.
Whatever gets votes, man.
Yeah,
Gang 2020.
Yeah.
$1,000 a month, please.
Yeah, no, I never want that in my life.
Well, I kind of do, because once everything starts being taken over by robots, I don't want the fucking economy to collapse. Yeah, and I'd like humanity to be free from
the robots.
bullshit.
I don't know if that's going to happen, though, when we talk about robots, because there used to be a thing called Luddites back in the Industrial Revolution. It was a group of people that were afraid of the same thing. And we actually have Center for External Risks, these types of actual corporations that are now in charge to make sure that they monitor technology to make sure it doesn't get to a point where we have a self-sustaining AI that can actually take over. There are multiple research foundations and security systems that are built with people making sure all these scientists are not diving into what we can call a Terminator-type world. So Skynet hopefully will not happen. There might be a chance where one guy's fucking off at work, he's chilling on his laptop, and then some other dude creates a giant-ass robot, and he just wasn't paying attention to stop it. Next thing you know, we're all being taken over. But
it's more like when trucks can drive themselves, then truck drivers are fucked. That's more what I'm talking about. What I'm saying is probably UBI, everyone gets $1,000 a month. That's probably gonna be bad. But if we have something like automation insurance that protects jobs that get automated
for a certain period of time. Yeah. See, Yang doesn't have it all figured out. And exactly. He hasn't really talked about anything to anyone except a few interviews. So it's you can't really base $12,000 to everyone is what the fuck? Now $12,000.
Yeah, we're not there yet. That's the thing.
Well, it's going to be worth $0. That $12,000 is all of a sudden going to be worth nothing because the U.S. dollar is no longer based off gold; it's based off of belief.
Yeah, jobs aren't gone yet. That's why we need a fucking we need a provisional thing before we hit that point. Yeah, it's gonna happen in 20 years or whatever. There's still 20 years to go. We don't want to crash it immediately.
The whole start of Luddites was the fact that there was printing presses, all this stuff that was coming out, that was machines being able to operate, and people were paying more for the machines because there's no point if it can do the same job and not work for his money. Basically, it's you're set. So companies were doing that, newspapers doing that, highly politicizing it, and people just started breaking these things because they were losing their jobs. They were fighting for the farmers, like, the people.
Mm-hmm.
That's why farmers, like, you don't see a robot farming or anything like that. You don't see it doing any of those types of jobs.
You see a robot
or
you see a farmer in a robot, though.
Yeah.
They don't have to drive the tractors anymore. There.
Yeah, but it's still a guy working the machine.
He sits there in the AC.
Well, we all have
listening
different
to radio.
tools.
Dude, I literally know a farmer in Texas that I talk to all the time. Like, he talks in Discord, like, every day, and he's just, like, sitting in a literal tractor in the air conditioning, like, playing video games.
I'm not saying people haven't used technology to be lazy, but I'm also saying the fact that it's still got to be powered by a man. It's got to be powered by someone that's human.
Yeah, it's once we get that
from
like
Rick and
AI,
Morty. Like the Frugal Cranks from Rick and Morty.
No.
You step on them to power the AI.
once we get AI, so many people like it'll free humanity to such a degree. Like, people could just get paid to go to college. Like, it'd be so fucking sick.
I want you to explain more of, like, true 3D printing using atomic structures, because you were telling me about that over Discord, but...
Well, that's like fucking replicators from Star Trek.
Okay,
like the 3D printing we have now, it's in, like, you can only do it in layers, so the 3D objects that we can print now are only strong in one direction, and you can, like, peel them the other way. So, like, it'd be layers layered on top of each other in one direction, so pulled horizontally, they'd be super strong, but pulled vertically, they wouldn't have that kind of integrity. But the replicators from Star Trek, the reason they've gotten to a post-scarcity society where no one has to work anymore is because they have replicators that can create objects with, like, subatomic particles and, like, just rearrange the cosmic dust to, like, just create, like, food and, like, spaceships and machines.
You explaining that to me right now actually just, like, made me realize why the theory's out there that, like, the teleporter that they use doesn't actually bring back the same person. It just dematerializes one, and
that's been a big issue.
So it's like you're really a bunch of copies of the same person.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And that's the thing, like, if that's the case, then, like, isn't that really the case of what we are now? Like, who knows? That could just be wrong. Like,
well, apparently you do. Like, my foot is putting atoms into the ground. My ass is putting atoms into this couch.
Yeah, there might
not just your ass, but your
consciousness might just be a complete fucking, like, lie. Like, we just think, like, it's like every snapshot. We're just like, it's just one moment of consciousness.
My God, it's my biggest fear because it brings me into what the Matrix was like.
Yeah,
bits and pieces from what I've seen.
Existential crisis.
Wait. But if you could live in a utopia, but be a slave to machines the rest of your life, you don't have to work, right? Like, your slave as in your freedom is the bounds of what they set, and their rules are pretty limited, right? Would you take that, feeling all sensory, having whatever you want, or the real world of the Matrix that's all blown up and you have to live underground?
I'd rather have that because it's real, and I don't like machines fucking me in the ass. Okay? So you're putting false imaging in my head. I don't want to live a false life. I don't care if I have...
But how do you know this
do
life
I get
is not
superpowers
false?
In this shit?
We don't.
Do I get superpowers?
There is
in
no
the false
spoon,
reality?
therefore you don't have to ask the question.
See, I say, like,
that's not answering my question.
If they
then you don't have superpowers. If you don't get that,
then I don't want to be in the all virtual reality.
If they disassemble your atoms and then, like, rebuild them somewhere else, there's absolutely nothing saying that, like, you just aren't being killed, and when the new you is being reconstructed, you just like get a new soul.
You don't know.
Like, you're fucked.
You don't know.
Like, the real you is, like, dead.
Fucking checking for chords.
This is the Real Geek podcast. It's the existential crises.
Well,
that's the root of all geek.
If I really want to live in a virtual reality where I have superpowers, I would just lucid dream, where you wake up in a dream and then try and be able to, like, I'm in a dream. I can do whatever I want. I got $1 million. That stuff's. If you can figure out how to do that, and that's like your fantasy from your escape. Life's supposed to suck a big old technological cock, so you gotta kind of understand, like, we're advancing in so many ways, but you gotta take also hold of the aspects of the little things that honestly are enjoyable in this life.
Well, that's half of what life is. It's just I'm building the Jeep so that way I can just drive on the beach. That's not like a very complicated
Dude, I've had
thing,
to pay in the past 3 days over almost $1,000
for
a brand new ID, which I got in trouble for at the MVA, if you want to hear that story.
You told me a little bit about it.
Did I tell you about the MVA
No.
story?
I'm
Okay,
interested.
so I get to the MVA at like 8 a.m. I'm like, all right, well, I'm here 30 minutes before it opens. Nobody's going to be here.
Mm-hmm.
No. There's a long-ass line. I'm like, damn, 30 minutes. I'm going to have to stand in this line and wait outside when it's kind of chilly. So I'm like, all right, screw it. Waiting there, about 28 minutes in, so there's only 2 minutes left till the doors open up. I'm like, texting my buddy, like, yeah, I'm here to, my license is expired, I need to get a new one. He goes, dude, they're going to take away your license. Like, he's scaring me, like they're going to arrest me or something. I'm like, or you're going to get a huge fine. I'm like, oh my God, like, I better step out of line. Almost stepped out of line, but the doors open up. I'm like, I might as well go get a change of address.
Mm-hmm.
So I go up there, and what I thought was the change of address was the voter registration. So I grabbed that. I was like, oh, I don't need this shit. And I just tossed it out. Yeah, I didn't care about voting at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And then the guy,
Well, we're still got a year.
a guy let me step back in. So I was like, okay. And so I'm back in line. I talked to a woman. And right in my bag, I have a pasta strainer. Because as a pastafarian, you're able to take a picture of your photo ID with a pasta
Well, you
strainer
should
on
legally
top of your
be
head.
able to. You
Yes.
should legally be able to.
Okay. Well, I was sweet charming this one woman because all I had was a mail thing that said I lived on where I live, my address. No birth certificate, no social security card to get my new Maryland license for being 21 now. So I was like, okay, hopefully they can work with this. She was like, we're not supposed to because you need your birth certificate, your social security card, you need a bunch of stuff because you're getting a new ID. I'm like, help me out. They're like, what do you mean help you out? I'm like, I don't have any of that right now. I came all the way here on my day off. Help me out. She did. And, you know.
God fucking... You know, like, 2 years ago, I tried to get an ID, and I didn't have, like, one of the things.
Well, they
Like,
me
I
in the
had
system
everything
already.
else, and, like, I didn't charm at all, and they're like, sorry, and I'm like, beta, okay, and I left the fucking DMV and went home.
No, I was like, how was your Easter? She was like, oh, it was good. And I was like, do you have any good food? And she's waiting for her computer to start up. So I'm like, okay, so I'm sweet charming. I said, I like your hair. You know, it's got nice purple in it. It's very nice. Like, what's your name? And like talking to her. And she goes, I don't have to put you over there because I can't help you because my computer's not starting up. I'm like, oh my God, I don't have to sweet charm another black person at the NBA.
Well,
I'm
it wasn't
really
one of
good-
those sweet black ladies that calls you sugar, though.
They were not the sweet ones.
Fuck!
Oh, but I made her into the sweet ones. For some
Okay,
reason,
good.
black people like me. I don't know what it is. At least the girls do.
Well, that's the best ones to have like
but-
you.
yes.
Am I right?
Yeah.
They take hold of the situation for my beta ass. No, but she brought me over to
The most
another-
alpha white man is no match for the most beta black woman.
So she brought me over to another bank teller. The other bank teller goes, well, what's going on here? And she goes, be nice to him. He's very sweet. Okay, help him out as much as he can. I was like, yes. So I go over there, start shooting shit with her again. So shooting shit with the other new bank teller. She takes, helps me out, takes a picture of my photo ID, and then we get to the vision test.
Oh, fuck.
I'm like, I brought my glasses just in case. So I'm sitting there, she's like, can I read the bottom line? I'm like, XRQZ, and she's like, XRQZ? I'm like, is that not right? She goes, no, it was completely off. Try again. And I was like, I'm still seeing XRQZ. And I just looked back at her. I was like, what's going to happen? She was like, I don't care. And just like scanned it. And I was like, damn, all right. So I was like, so we get my picture ID. I get one of them. I'm like, look, I'll pay any amount of money if you will let me take a picture with this pasta strainer on my head. And I took it out. And she goes, how'd you get that in here? I said, it was in my backpack. Nobody stopped me and asked my backpack. The cop's an old white guy drinking Dunkin' Donuts. She goes, okay, and looks over, and at the security guard walks over to me, grabs my pasta strainer, walks away. He says, I'm like, okay, is he not going to check the rest of my bag? Comes back a minute later without my pasta strainer, grabs my bag, walks away. I'm like, well, that had my glasses and mailing stuff in it, so if she needs my address, I just got to, she takes my word for it.
That's ridiculous.
So I got, my new ID's now coming in the mail. I'm leaving. I got my backpack and I'm leaving. And I'm like, this is a lot lighter than when I came in.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, so what did they take out of there? The freaking pasta strainer. I went back to the security guy. I was like, guys, I need my pasta strainer back. He goes, what for? I'm like, it's my fucking mom's pasta strainer. I didn't just buy a pasta strainer to get rejected for a picture ID.
Yeah, exactly.
He was like, okay, and he just handed it back to me. I was like, that was the weirdest interaction I've ever had.
Dude,
Fucking
I'm about
keep their
to.
pasta strainer.
I have to go there to register my Jeep. I'm legit about to wear a pasta strainer down to there, just to make them start seeing like, wait, more than one person in this area.
They start seeing a cult.
Yeah,
of
there was a dude behind
Pastafarian.
me with 4 piercings, like needle piercings in his lip, and those giant gauges in his ears. How is that any different? I'm also wearing metal on my head.
That guy's not getting help on his fucking ID.
You need to take those out for your ID. I kind of can't.
Yeah, it's not happening.
Can I put in my gold Tifas?
Toofuses is.
But you gotta think, like, I mean, is it really that honestly ridiculous? Like, I mean, you think if you're a cop and you're pulling someone over and the picture ID is a pasta strainer on the dude's head, you're
I
just
think
like,
it would make
Sir, just
the officer's day.
Yeah, exactly.
Honestly, like I'm sure most cops are bored of like the same old like, either like the
Or
really rude
scared to go
people.
up to your window.
Yeah, well, yeah, it'd be a nice change of pace to see someone who's like
More open.
kind-hearted enough to wear, or light-hearted enough to wear a pasta strainer in their photo. Like that's pretty good. That'd be pretty funny.
But do you think that would give them a chance to see, like, oh, I can definitely take advantage of this guy?
Well, if they thought that, you just kind of have to know.
He's a beta. I can take advantage of him.
You know, no, you just kind of got to know, like,
Well, it's
what your
pretty
rights
alpha
are.
to have a fucking pasta, like,
No,
to
yeah,
have gotten that on your head in your official state ID.
I would look, instead of organ donor on the back of the license, I'd look for, like, a autistic sign or something. Like, the kid might be mentally challenged.
Well, I never denied it, officer.
Do you think that there actually might be some people that are mentally challenged that drive?
I don't know.
Yes.
Because I get fascinated by the aspect of, like, I've met someone that gets, like, jobs for people that have a type of, like, mental disability. So it really comes into high, like, what's the most popular job you see mental people have?
Just like stocking shelves and
Groceries.
customer service.
No,
stuff.
it's the freaking cart.
They're really
pushers.
yeah. The one
It's because
dude-
that's the shit job they don't want it. The normal people or the regular thinkers don't want to do. They just give them go out there in the snow and grab those shopping carts. Okay.
Yeah, but the dude who works down at that food line, I knew him in high school,
I did too.
and he's so fucking smart. Like when I was talking to him, he had like a catalog of all of their inventory in his head, and he was like telling me because I was like, "What's
You know
on?"
he has a blog.
Really?
What the fuck is he
has,
doing there?
He has a
Jesus.
He has a YouTube channel. I'm not going to say his name, but what you just said about him being really smart, watch his fucking YouTube channel and you will completely think the complete opposite way. He has a video where I hold my breath under water for 5 minutes. He's in his bathtub, and then you can tell the video fucking pauses at like 20 seconds, and he just keeps doing that every 30 seconds because that's when he runs out of breath. But he clips it all together so it acts like it's 5 minutes.
That's
And
hilarious.
then he
dude.
comes up at the ending, I just hold my breath for 5 minutes. And you think it's a fucking joke. But dude, I've never laughed so hard. I was also stoned. But I was laughing so hard at all of his videos.
He might have like tried to make a joke.
He's got a Facebook thing called the Frampton Supporters.
The
yes.
what?
Look up his YouTube. I'm telling you.
I will.
His videos are not jokes, man. His
Yo,
videos
I'm
are
just saying-
not jokes. You
I'm
watch
just saying,
that, you're
when
like,
I
this
see him,
kid.
I always walk up to him and I'm like, "What are the discounts today?" And he lists them all off for me, like immediately, without even thinking about it. He's like, "Oh, and if they ran out of turkeys, there's 3 in the back." It's like, what?
The
What?
fucking eidetic memory.
Yeah,
There's
it's
so
like, what
many
the fuck?
jobs he could just instantly get for that.
Well,
He's a fucking food lion.
We know about Rain Man. He was a retard.
Yeah, but like, how would anyone who would be in charge of helping him get a job let him work at Food Lion?
Because they don't ask him what the discounts at Food Lion are.
It's not even that.
They don't ask him.
You know
It's-
what an
it's
eidetic
not
memory
that.
is? That's
It's
a
not-
photographic memory.
It's not someone that got in his position. There's not someone that got him, like a person didn't go, I feel like this job would suit you. No, his mom works there. So he works with his mom.
Oh.
Then like,
And his mom probably doesn't feel like he's comfortable enough to live on his own.
Yeah, a lot of times they're not going to be ever. So like maybe that's like the limiting factor. Because if he was going to go and do something that pays for him to memorize, it would have to pay a lot because he'd have to hire a personal assistant all the time.
Would that scare you if you had a mentally challenged kid? That's always scared me, is if I had a kid if he was mentally challenged, because I know when I die and if there's no one around, like no siblings he has that are like functional and able to like sustain a home, he's not going to know what the hell to do. He's going to be left out on his own. Have you ever seen a homeless, like, mentally disabled person?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it sucks.
It's pretty sad.
It is.
Like, because now they really have it like a shit roll of the dice.
Before you die, move to New York and get them on permanent care. There's one of the best programs in New York is for disabilities. They have like public transport. They have job placement. They pay you if you don't have a job. They give you housing and they have assistance for you. It's fucking like if I ever have a disabled kid, I'm gonna bring him to New York almost immediately and do whatever sacrifice I have to get him there, because one of my family friends is mentally disabled, and like she has the ability to do a lot of things, just not on her own. So New York provided all this shit to her, and now she's like a member of society all of a sudden, when she was struggling all throughout high school and stuff. You know, it's like, it's ridiculous. So that was always my thing. Plus, I think my selfish thing is I like to act weird in public. So like they never feel left out, because if they're like screaming and like flailing hands, I would then scream and flail hands.
Yeah.
Because that's just who I am. I think it'd be hilarious. I think it would give me a good excuse all the time.
Do you think about like? I'm trying to phrase the right term for it. Like when it comes to like seeing that, do you know if you'd be able to handle it in a situation? Like if you were gifted or you were, held responsible for someone that was mentally challenged and was your child, would you be able to handle that situation? I don't think I'd just have the stones.
That's a tough question, because you won't really know until you have it.
I think when you get a child like that's when you like receive the stones. Like
yeah, you kind of have to at that point.
Your brain just kind of processes it.
Like you're like. Your brain's just like, well, yeah, that's my kid. Like, I'll fucking kill you.
It's like it's the
if you do it.
Like the thing about people's kids too is like most of the time it's like the kid gives them the confidence. You see that in like overprotective parents. Like they've been beta in a sense all their lives, and then all of a sudden they have a kid, and now they have to stand up for something. So
you're in charge of something.
That's why like
my buddy's going through this right now. He's about to have a kid like in less than a week.
Yeah.
So he's like, I'm like, once that thing, like he's nervous and scared out of his mind, but I'm like, I'm telling you, once that thing comes out, like, don't mean to call it a thing, but once it's out, like, you're going to take hold of so many different responsibilities. And I can say that even though I have no experience on that myself.
It's just,
but
it's true.
It's literally a copy of yourself. You were so selfish enough to make another you. So it's like, that is like, you're going to see that and be like, it's just like if someone pointed a gun at you, you'd be like, no, fuck that. Like, you're going to protect your...
No, but with that, though, where I was going with that is, like, there's some people who are like, I'm ready to have a child, and then they have a disabled child, and they're like, I was ready for this to begin with. You know what I mean? And then there's some people, and normally the ones who either A, run away from their problems, or B, find the stones to man up and do it.
Fight or flight.
Yeah, exactly. So the ones who normally man up and do it, they learn as they go, and then they're just overprotective and end up messing things up a little bit. But it's better than the ones who run away, you know?
What if you wanted to live in a virtual reality like Matrix, and you kept having retard kids?
That was like the one downside?
Yeah.
Oh, dude. Heartbeat. Heartbeat.
You just like drive them out into the wilderness and let them go?
No, you just walk around town, like I said, screaming. It'd be so much fun. If you could do anything.
You can't do that. If you could have one disability, what disability would it be?
I already got 3 of them, dog. What do you mean?
Those aren't disabilities. I'm talking about like a major mental disorder, like your fucking hand is doing the cerebral palsy shit.
Oh, Tourette's.
Fucking, that's what I want too.
100%.
Because I already do that.
People are like, a lot of people who have Tourette's say it's like hell, because I get it. Like if
they can't get a job,
if you're a shy, like if you're a shy person, then you can't really rock that attitude. You know, like because now it's labeled as a disability, so you're going to be embarrassed by it. But if you didn't have it before, and you develop it, and you know you developed it, and you've watched South Park when you were younger, then you're like, I own the world. Like you can tell your boss whatever you want, and if he fires you, that's a terms to sue the company.
I had a friend that had Tourette's. His name's Hanley.
Yeah.
And he literally walks around and he just like screams, like randomly cusses. He's got a card that says he has Tourette's because he gets arrested so many fucking times. Because we were on the boardwalk and there's no cursing on the boardwalk. Mm-hmm. He's like, fuck, shit. And like, just like, cop come over, excuse me. He goes, I said, shit, fuck. Yeah. and just start screaming like you can't help it. Have you seen the English people? And it's a documentary, an actual documentary on Tourette's, but it's like by BBC, but it makes fun of these guys basically. It's all these older men in England that have Tourette's. Dude.
Is it funny?
I've never laughed so fucking hard in my life. That's one disability I think that is always funny because you're not laughing at the person, you're laughing at what's being said. Exactly. Sometimes I'm in the grocery store, I'm like, oh, they're out of ice cream. I'm like, fuck. And then the next thing I know, like, they're out of something else. Shit! And like, I'm just like, out and loud. It's not that I have Tourette's. I'm like, it's what's so refrained about cussing in public. Like, it's not, oh, my ears. It's like, you've heard it in TV shows and movies and don't even bat an eye, but someone says it. You know, I'm just saying.
Did you know that the only true swear is damn?
Why?
Because that's like actually it's curse, right? Like curse words. Because you're sending a curse to them, saying "damn you," like "damn you to hell."
Damn is my favorite swear.
But that's like the only curse. The rest of them are all acronyms or meanings for other things.
Like God.
Like fuck was
Damn!
Fornication under the consent of king, right? So that was like in medieval times, you used to go have to ask the king to have sex with your wife. So that's what fuck is. And, shit is poop. So all these things have different meanings other than damn, which is a made-up phrase by Christians saying to like, damn you. It's like, okay, you're literally saying, I want you to go to hell, right?
It's condemning you.
Yeah. Exactly. It's condemning you. So that's like the only swear. So the rest of them are just things that people are like, ugh, I can't handle that because society told me I can't handle that. Like, man the fuck up. Stop being a pussy.
Societal constructs are funny.
Yeah, I think it's hilarious. But
what type of societal constructs?
All of them.
Like
They're all hilarious.
Give me one to talk about.
Like literally what he was just talking about, like swearing is bad, even though it's just words.
Swearing. What else is bad in society?
Nudity.
Today? Nudity.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like, oops, we have a basic impulse, but that's bad.
Have you seen the difference between...
The funniest part is how nudity is so bad.
Cutting me off.
I just wanted to say this, because nudity is so bad, yet, like, we watch movies where people get ripped in half and, like, their organs, like, pulled out and shit like that, and that's, like, not even,
but
like,
you can't
bad.
show a titty.
Yeah.
Well, see, this is the thing I want to hit on that same subject. When you're using curse words, what changes the movie from an R to a PG-13 is the whole idea of how they use the word fuck. You can say, if you say go fuck yourself, that's a rated R movie. But if you say let's fuck, that's not rated R.
That's PG-13.
How?
Oh.
It's the usage of the word. It's still the same word.
I think it'd be the other way.
But it's like, it's lining it up.
I feel like it should be the other way, too.
It might be the other way. I might be wrong. But still,
that'd be the more, like, in line with, like, nudity. It's improper.
Well, just telling somebody you want to bang is not actually banging them.
Now, like, one place...
How many fake porns have you watched where the guy's just like, you want to bang, and then it's over? I'm like, was I watching a trailer or the porn?
Bro.
You've never had that happen to you?
It's improper, dude,
Must
bro.
Just be me.
It's improper, dude. You can't do that.
That video's too long.
It's fucked up, bro.
You know what state...
You can't be nude, bro.
What state has it all figured out?
I can't be nude?
No, it's fucked up, bro.
You know, for a guy that actually has body image issues, that hits 100% home with me.
It's gross, bro.
Yeah.
You can't. A penis is literally the worst thing on the planet.
It's gross, bro. Like, you can't do it, bro.
I don't like going to pools because I don't like seeing older men with their shirts off.
Hey, you know what?
Plus, you're swimming around in urine.
Yeah, half the time, yeah.
Half the time.
But,
my dad never got in the ocean. I'm like, Dad, there's a lot.
The ocean is a bit different than a public swimming pool.
My dad's like, look, I hate sharks and I hate pee. I'm like, okay, what does that mean? I'm like, every time I get in the ocean, doesn't matter where I go, there's a little bastard that comes up right beside me. He's got a bad experience with sharks, too. Mm. Dude, I did the scariest thing, and I watched Jaws in my friend's pool at night on their projection screen outside.
Oh, that's such a good time.
Dude, I'm sitting in a floaty, the water's pitch black, and I hear dun, dun, and I'm like,
oh, shit.
My mind's like, yo, a shark's about to eat your ass.
Yeah, you know what state has it figured out, though? Back to societal constructs? Vermont allows you to carry an unloaded shotgun anywhere you go, butt naked. As long as you leave your house naked. If you strip...
General butt naked?
Yeah, exactly.
Minus the baby eating?
Well, yeah, you can't eat babies, but you can be like general butt naked.
He believed he was invincible.
Mm.
Bullets could not hit him if he had no clothing on.
Yeah, well, see that? He had the right ideas. Vermont has the same idea where if you leave home with an unloaded shotgun and butt naked, you're fine.
Do you ever feel like it's going to be to the point like of being? Do you feel like there's going to be those rare people that are not uncomfortable being naked in public, or there's just always going to be like it's just going to get worse and worse where we're afraid we're all going to be wearing like.
I think it's already
the hell it is, the giant fucking cloaks.
It's already rolling back. Cause there's all the like movements where like women just go around topless because like it's a like stupid double standard that like men can be topless and women can't. Like
yeah, I mean
like we're already there's already a lot of people starting to go back.
Why are men nipples not sexual, but women nipples are sexual?
Because like, mine are hairy, dog.
It's the
no
definition.
I've seen a woman with hairy nipples before.
Well, that shit's gross.
It's the definition of societal construct. It's just because it's like look at Africa. Like they just don't think that over there, so it's not.
That's like I wouldn't call that societal. I call that more cultural.
Well, the societal cultural construct, same shit. That's like what I'm talking about.
Well, like, you gotta think like, is there gonna be a point where we just end up reverting back to like nature standards? Because I mean, we still pull stuff from nature's aspect, like the group mentality. That's a whole thing with pack animals and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You know, there's always an alpha wolf, and then there's the beta or the omega or whatever the hell it is, like outcast. Like, there's always those types of people on each different type of like town or social group or something. So you gotta think like, how far does it really go? To when we're ending up going to just revert 100% back to nature, or are we just never going to go back to that point?
I think a lot of people already at that social point where like they're just kind of, because there's a lot of people that like I legitimately don't think that they have a thought going through their head. Like,
there's
have you met those people?
The robots, yeah, autopilot.
Yeah, like they're when you fit in with them, it is like the strangest feeling ever. Like I can go autopilot kind of, right, without much thought. And it is like the strangest feeling ever when I sit back and think about what I just did. Because it's like, wow. Like, these people, like, there's no way to explain how they are. It's just like, you could tell there's nothing going on up there. You know? It's very hard to explain.
The only way to exist is to self-actualize people. You gotta be aware of your subconscious mind and act on it, bro.
Don't
the
pull out
only
your
way to
phone
be real.
And look up from it every now and again when we're walking in the store, because the next child I bump into is getting throat punched. Shit,
that was a story and a half.
Off, dude. Oh my god, man! You're walking in the store and those people are on their phones like that. I'm like, just leave it in the car. You don't need it on you. Welcome to the real world.
Well, who do the kids need to contact anyway?
Fucking YouTube,
Facebook, Twitter.
Minecraft Let's Plays.
You gotta watch PewDiePie, bro.
Not even those kids. I see people like a year younger than me on it. And I'm like, dude, seriously.
Yeah, dude, if they're not listening to Baby Shark on 24-hour loop, then they're going to cry in the store, so.
I listen to that in my headphones when I'm grocery shopping.
Yeah, I listen to music on my fucking phone. That's it. Like,
podcasts.
Podcasts are great, too.
Opening it up to the podcast world.
Ooh, you know what? What is your weirdest experience with, like, a robotic human? Like someone who has like the personality of a robot.
Oh,
I see him come into my store a lot.
Like just those autopilot, like the ones that are just drones to something bigger, you know?
Okay, I'm not going to say his name, but he actually is a little bit mentally unstable, but he would literally talk like he was into My Little Pony a lot, like it's this giant thing. And I told my buddy, I was like, you know, I'm a brony. Like I told the kid that, like just joking. I wasn't making fun of him, just joking around, trying to kind of connect with him. I never really. He's a nice kid. Or Daniel Boone hat, like one of those raccoon hats.
Yeah.
And he's like, really? You like the show? I was like, yes, I do. It's awesome. And like, I was trying to connect with him. And
I know
said,
exactly what you're talking about now.
You do, but don't say anything.
I'm not.
I told my friend, I was like, hey, like he doesn't like My Little Pony. He's not a brony. He hates My Little Pony. And he just looked at the kid and goes, and then looks back at me and goes, thank you for warning me. And I'm like, oh, you're gonna get fucking murdered in a back alley, bro.
Yeah, dude. He's fucking... See, well, people like that are like the obvious social outcasts. Like, because I know who exactly you're talking about. He did not have a single person that he could go to talk to every day constantly. It was like
He was
people
always walking by himself at lunch. I know, I saw.
people that he would try to connect with never would connect with him. You know,
people don't understand him.
he's on another level.
But now I see him on Facebook, and he's always with his family. I'm like, yeah, this is what we're talking about with mentally challenged people not being able to ever really leave home.
Mhm.
Like, he's not able. He works a job and everything, but like
he's a smart guy when it comes to tech.
Somebody picks him up every day.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he has a ride to work every day. He gets fed every day. Like, you know, he's not sustainable on his own besides doing a couple things.
Mm-hmm.
And it really sucks because like I've asked a bunch of people that were like those types of nerds in my school to podcast with, like the kids that ran doing Naruto runs down the hallway with their arms behind their back and stuff, acting like ninjas. Trying to seem that's their way of fitting in, their way of seeming cool. When everyone else was more like, that's not the society's way. We're more about like, there were the people like me that just kind of sat at their seat, stay conformed, stay kind of down, stay like not,
Mm-hmm.
don't attract any attention. Like high school was a giant like, don't do anything good.
I
or
was
bad.
like that for a while, and then all of a sudden, like this burst. I went to Norway, and then like burst of just like confidence and like fuck this place. So like after that, it was like I would always have my head down, and then all of a sudden I came back, I shaved my head. And I
Pure
was
European confidence.
Yeah, I was just like I ran down the hall screaming shit, and like if someone looked at me weird, I'd be like, yo, what are you looking at? Just kidding. You know, that type of stuff. You know what I mean? Like just complete energy burst and making myself stand out on purpose.
Robbie, you like hit the gold mine for if you want to do a fucking like geek podcast, because we're on that geek spectrum, but like both of us are just like, we're so not there. Like we're
I
not
did a lot of normie shit.
You just made that sound like a stoner.
We're the most normie like nerds you will have ever met, and like who could possibly be on this podcast.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm out there to hear everyone's story. You guys know that. I mean, It takes. I feel like it takes a person that's really got to have like a click with people in general and social, just to be able to communicate with so many different forms of people. Because every conversation I've had is different. Every single one, from you doing when you were by yourself, like. There's these different moments I'm connecting with you guys on that are going to be our moments, but at the same time, it's like I also have to try and connect with you in a way that is fit towards you. Like I look for special articles for you guys to do podcasts on stuff
for
you're
like the
interested
fill in the
in.
blank and stuff, just to like keep interest.
And then when we do out of the blank, it's like I'm getting your experience, but at the same time, I want to make sure that like I'm also hearing you. I'm also trying to remember your stories. I remember every single thing you guys have ever told me, basically, on our podcast, until it comes down to stupid shit like this, where we're just kind of ranting and going off, because this is like free talk. But like when you tell me your inspirational stories and your experiences, that stuff locks in my brain, and I get that, and I have that in there because you built a title with me. You built a relationship. It's like the social status on Sims and shit, like where you have friends, best friends, and all that stuff. It's like I have a level there, like for everyone, and it's definitely something that's interesting. It's definitely like why I look back and when I invite those kids that were doing the Naruto runs in the hallway to be on my podcast, they give me the response like, "Why me? Like, you didn't really talk to me back in the day, and I'm pretty sure you're just like everybody else that laughed at me." I was like, dude, it's not ridiculous. I have fucking Dragon Ball Z t-shirts I wear, so it's not like it's not something I would have brought to school. It's just the aspect of being made fun of. But they didn't give a fuck before I didn't give a fuck.
Well, see, but I feel like they were extroverted about things that other people weren't extroverted about. Like, they're introverted when it comes to like normal social stuff. But then when it comes to like their passions into like anime and stuff, they're just out there. Everything's out there. You know what I mean? Like, so they keep a part of themselves contained that the rest of us let out. And they let out the stuff that the rest of us keep contained.
Well, that's what we're talking about. Nerds are
like
being
counterculture, honestly.
Nerds are being more popular. You're seeing a hell of a lot more than that. You know what they sell, like, shirt-wise now? Superhero shirts all these types of things that were looked at like nerds back in the day would wear. You wanted to be a superhero because you can't get jacked in real life, like that type of shit.
Mm-hmm.
That's all like coming in popular society. Nothing but superhero movies in theaters nowadays. Hell, dude, I went to Five Below. They had the Beatles album, like the reggae one, like the Octopus's Garden type style,
damn.
and it was Han Solo on it with
That's
Chewbacca
pretty fucking cool.
and R2D2. It
That's
was
pretty
all like
fucking cool.
trippy, like acid trip stuff. I was like, that's sick. Like, but it's like that. All that's coming into society, like Star Wars, all this stuff, like all this stuff that was known as the stereotypical nerd, and it's like. I think when I look at those kids now that were like that, where I called them, might have thought they were weird back in school, I see them as like, they just didn't give a shit before I didn't give a shit. It took me a while to come into an adulthood and not see any of those people from school anymore to realize, like, damn, they had it all figured out from the beginning, not to give a shit what people label you as. Why are you going to let someone label you? Like, why are you going to let someone label you? If you want to be labeled a dick, then that's what that person thinks of you. Doesn't mean you have to be a dick 24/7, but...
The first girl that I had a serious relationship with, you want to know why I picked her? Because I was in the park, and the first thing I told her was, like, she was walking towards me, she had, like, soccer uniform on, and I was like, I mentioned something about video games, right? Because I was, like, a stupid smartass, and I was like, yeah, I don't really play sports, I play video games. And then she got on to, like, the whole, like, Legend of Zelda and Pokemon thing. And I was like, oh, shit. And then she was like, oh, I play violin. Like, oh, I play violin. And then it was like, okay, Homo erectus. You know, it's just like that. That was like, but it's like that confidence that you can blend in with everyone else, but you can also be extroverted about your passions.
Yeah.
You know, like that's what the people who did the Naruto run down the hall didn't realize, is that you can blend in with everyone and have that uniqueness about you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's just my take on it. I mean, your whole idea is like I still want to hear their story, and that's awesome because it's actually better that people understand where they're coming from.
That's a good way, the way you think of it, because you're thinking of it like, if your passion is so strong, you put that forward before how someone looks at you. You have that comes first.
But if you're still blending in also, like, you have that in the back of your mind, like, yeah, I probably shouldn't shit in the streets, but, like,
that's
I'm really
not
interested
really
in...
blending in.
No,
That's
no,
like
but,
fucking,
like, that's debatable.
that's
bro.
common sense. Like,
No, but, like,
that's
you know what
culture,
I'm...
bro.
But a lot
We're
of
not
the time,
India.
sometimes they wouldn't get it. I remember seeing
We're not
two of...
fucking India.
We're also not San Francisco. San Francisco has the largest amount of human feces on the sidewalk in the entire country.
Sad, too.
And they have the highest taxes. Fucking paradise, right? Anyway.
What are the tax money going to?
The politicians' pockets. But, like, some of those kids were, like, making out and, like...
The sheer outrage of the theft of taxation. It burns.
Burns my soul, man. But yeah, like, those kids, though, what I'm saying is, like, you know, I like making out as much as the next guy. But you think I'm gonna fucking French kiss my girlfriend in the hallway? No. Those kids didn't understand that that's, like, something that you just don't do. You know what I mean?
You
like,
know what common courtesy is.
Yeah, like, they didn't get that.
There's a point of why we have something illegal called public indecency, where you're either exposing yourself or doing public displays of affection that people find turned off. Well, I feel like you should be able to hold hands with your girlfriend. You should be able to kiss your girlfriend. You're not supposed to be able to have sex in the middle of the hallway.
See, now, I would like that.
Of course you would like that if you're getting laid. Or if you're just the one guy in the corner, like, taking his socks off and slowly expressing your love in the corner.
Pulling up the peace sign with your left hand, going with the right.
I just like to watch. But you have your hand over your eyes, yes, but I'm still touching myself. Like that guy.
Yeah. Well, that would be one of the guys who doesn't understand social constructs.
That's one of the guys that's in the basement stealing all the neighborhood pets that we keep going back to. Little Jimmy.
Fucking kidnapping girls, putting skulls in their head, and then trying to make half of their brain dead. Wait, do you not know? Okay, I look up a lot of serial killer shit. That's what,
Please, dive in more. We're in the deep end of the pool now.
I can't think of his name. Not Ted Bundy.
Don't wait to put the freaking floaties
not
on.
Ted
Jump
Bundy.
in.
You got us. You thought we were going to be talking about, like, anime and video games.
That's not what this is about.
Who's the other serial killer guys? Who's that fucking retarded one? The guy who was, like,
Charles
actually...
Manson?
No. Charles Manson was a cult leader. He wasn't even a killer.
You said there was a retarded one.
He's a retarded guy, and his name is... It's not Ted Bundy. Ted Bundy's interesting.
Buffalo Bill?
While I think of the other guy's name, Ted Bundy was interesting, right? He actually got caught. So, first off, before he was a serial killer, he was an alcoholic, right? That's how he suppressed his demons. So, he was with a girl. The girl got tired of taking care of him, and she dumped him. He then cleans up, gets into a position of political power just to ask her out again, and then after their first date, he breaks up with her again. And when asked why in an interview, it was to say that he got the last word.
That is amazing.
Yeah, dude. But, like, and when he was in prison, he was doing this exercise. No one fucking got it.
Arthur Shawcross?
No. He was living in, where he had, it was one who, he drilled holes in girls' heads to try to make sex slaves. Like, make a part of their brain dead, but them still living, you know?
Jesus.
Yeah, I don't remember who, but anyway. Ted Bundy was doing like a ritual where like he was like doing this thing where he'd jump off the top bunk and land on the ground as hard as he could. And everyone was like, what the fuck is he doing? Turns out, first court date, he gets up to stand to plead his case. He jumps out the window out of a 2-story building and runs off. He was strengthening his ankles months before his court date. He
That's
knew
a
the
genius.
court. Yeah, he knew it would have windows, so he was like, I'm gonna train myself to jump out of a window. He ran off into the hills. Then he came back into town, got caught again. Everyone's like, what the fuck? Why? Later on, he goes on to trial again, but he wants to be his own lawyer. When you claim to be your own lawyer and you're in prison, you get a suit and you get a shave. So he shaves his beard. He wears a suit. During the recess of court, he walks out of the building. Everyone thinks that he's just an everyday lawyer. He walks out of the building. No one stopped him. He was like, yeah, hey, officer. Yeah. Right out the front door.
Now, we look at that guy as a serial killer, but I see the man as like, he's like 5 steps ahead.
He is. But that's like the psychopath in him is that he keeps a goal and then he thinks so hard about it, he just hyper-focuses on it. That's his demon. So when he got broken up with his girlfriend, he was like, man, I want to kill something right now, you know? And then like, he was like, no, wait, instead, I'm going to make her... she's going to have to live in a hell without me. So then he goes through political power and then dumps her. And then after that, he's like, you know what, though? Killing someone does sound pretty good. So then he hyper-focuses on that, gets a clean kill, leaves the body somewhere, no one knows who the body is. A few years later, they find out it's him, and then he escapes prison twice. For fun.
That's why Elon Musk got it figured out. He just launched a dude he hated into space.
Yeah,
he was in the spacesuit.
Buckled him into the car.
He's fucking dead floating around in the car.
Yeah, man. That's pretty. That would be hilarious. Like years later, we get a return signal, and it's like aliens. Like, dude, why'd you send a dead guy up here?
He's been up there for like
And we're
5
like,
years, and I'm pretty sure all he...
What?
He's been up there for like 5 years, and I'm pretty sure all he had before he went up there was an Arby's meat sandwich. So I don't know how he's gonna be alive.
He had one fucking... What
Did
is
he
it?
pack him any food?
He had one beef and
Oh, I
cheddar
forgot to
inside
put
of
it
his
in the
spacesuit.
No, they put the food in the trunk. So he
Yeah,
has to get out.
he has to get out of the fucking car.
They put it in his hand, but he'd have to open his suit to eat it.
It's torture, dude.
Do not roll the windows down when you're in the Tesla.
You're in
You
space.
know what's crazy though? The guy that I couldn't think of his name, who was doing all that stuff, one of his slaves got out after performing the surgery, had a hole in his head. He ran up to an officer and was like, "God, I'm captured by this guy. This dude again, retard, doesn't know anything, but he knew." The cop would probably want me to say that I'm gay and we're just having kinky sex, right? So he walks up to the officer with blind confidence, tells the officer, like, this is a part of our role play. I'm so sorry. He got out. And, like, the officer was like, okay, have a good night. And he brought to drag the sex slave back into his dungeon. Blind confidence. That's all it took for that serial killer to
Is
go
there a
over
way to lie yourself to the point of believing it? I can do that a lot. Like, if I tell myself that I did something and then eventually you're just like, I think it...
That's why people say don't lie to yourself, because, you know, when you're like, oh, you know, I'll go to the gym tomorrow. You'll keep telling yourself that, and then
I've
you'll
gone
actually...
every day for 6 years.
But what I'm saying is you will believe it every time you tell yourself.
I hope
and then you don't do it.
I hope my body's in this much pain for that, because if it's not, then there's something seriously wrong.
Yeah, dude, you gotta chill with that.
There's no way my shit should be that bad.
You're getting leg stuff happening every left and right. Like
They just get dislocated every now and again. It's fine.
yeah, too much lifting, dude.
Pop that bitch right back in.
Yo, by the way, when you're at like this angle, I know the viewers can't see it, but when you're at like this angle, you look like you should like be on a TV show hosting something.
What angle?
Like look at Evan, but like
Yeah,
A little bit.
Robbie really.
a little bit less.
Is
Yeah, right
a,
there. That one. That angle. From
Yeah.
me. That is like you like if they had the camera at that angle and the other one like they normally do, like the V shape
Yeah.
angles or the front facing even. I mean
Is
you
that
don't
good or bad?
have a bad looking face. So if you had like cameras on you at like any angle, you would look like a TV show celebrity.
He's very photogenic.
Yeah,
This should be like a filmed podcast.
I think it should be too, so that way the viewers could see what I'm talking about.
I'm
here, 'cause-
really feeling like sexually harassed. In a way.
Guess
Sexually
what?
danger.
I'm deleting the evidence. We're getting rid of this podcast.
No, you know, actually, when we're on like what 53 episodes, or 54 episodes out of the blank now.
Mhm.
So when it hits 100 was when I was going to start doing actual like visual stuff too. So like eventually, like you're gonna have to can't be any more 5 o'clock in the morning showing up in sweatpants and
No, see,
Yeah.
like that's the
shrimp
issue.
pillow around the neck. You gotta
I
come
don't
in.
think I've only come over here showered once, I think, because I either wake up too early or like today I was working on my car all day and I just didn't feel like doing anything.
Yeah,
So
as long as you don't care how you look, like the whole point, like
As long as you look okay, like if you
I won't give a
if
shit
you look
how
how
you
you want to
look,
look
dude.
on film.
you want to look however you want to look, it's gonna get displayed out into the world. So I don't give a damn. But like I'm probably gonna be wearing a comfortable jacket. I'm gonna wear what's comfortable, dude. Because like first of all, like it's already a thing. Like a lot of people don't want to be like video or anything like that. They don't want any facial stuff. And I'm like, dude, I already got bands wanting to do my podcast and stuff. Like when this Jellyfish Festival comes down, I'm trying to get like all these people on there, like 9 Mile Roots. I'm trying to get them. The singers messaging me today. I actually need to message them back about
that
it.
fest is a Thursday, Friday, Saturday, right?
I think it's a 3-day or 4-day event now.
All right, I'm gonna sleep at your house, Evan.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
just gonna come over after work Wednesday.
Wait,
or
what
Thursday
was the
morning.
date again?
It's supposed to be Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and I think Sunday.
When?
It's like in June 17th or something. It starts.
So like
Like,
I don't
absolutely
work Thursday, Friday, so like I could just come over with my laptop.
Well, hit me
after
up that
work
night,
and-
guys, so I can come down with you.
Yeah, come down
I might
and, like-
actually like when I leave the gym, just put spare clothes in my car and just run down there.
Yeah, man, we could get on that. I'm probably gonna go to his house and like play Warcraft 3 or something until the sun rises
You're
after
fucking
work.
sick.
Like, yeah, man. It's
No,
gonna be
your
fun,
house
man.
is sick.
It is pretty sick.
No, in a good and bad way. First of all, the bad way is there was a corn dog sitting on the fucking table that I'm pretty sure has been there
It's
for.
not my that's my little brother, bro.
So
God
that
damn.
was your little brother. He was playing Fortnite in the living room.
God.
I
it's-
opened up the door and I saw a little kid and I was like, "Is this the right house?" And I was like, "Yo, is Evan here?" And he was like, "Oh, I don't think so." And he kind of like looked at me weird. I was like, "Maybe Evan doesn't live in this house." Like maybe I just opened the door
You
to a
think-
random
Yeah, and he
house.
sits
saying
there and plays Fortnite and gets the fucking place dirty.
He ate like a bite of a corn dog,
And just left it there.
just left it there,
Playing Fortnite, eating corn dogs.
and then
what a
you
fucking
left it
life.
there. Like I'm gonna wait till he fucking.
He
cleans
just
it.
comes back
And eats
every day.
He'll take a bite of
What
a
the
corn-
hell am I
It's
supposed
like feeding a stray cat.
do?
It
Do I
is.
do?
It
Do
is
I like
kinda.
clean it up every day? No, I'm gonna wait until he like gets his own room, which we're doing like soon. I'm gonna clean out a room downstairs and throw him into it and lock him in there with Fortnite and corn dogs, and then I'll clean my living room.
A microwavable frozen corn dogs and an Xbox with Fortnite loaded on it is all that kid needs. God. What a fucking life. See, that's also the thing too, is like kids are all nerds nowadays. Like if a kid has not played Fortnite, he's the nerd. You know what I mean? Like that is like the meta right now of little kids.
Why?
It actually is.
I know.
And then you look at our grandparents saying that going outside was their type of adventure. It's like, because you didn't have this type of technology to hold graphics.
Going outside's a pretty good adventure. That's why I got the Jeep. I want to go on the beach every single day.
It's super
that I can.
fun.
I do not want to
But
get
so is
on
like
the beach in
gaming.
a car again. I've been too many acetique bonfires late at night where you're freezing your ass off, and I'm just like,
Yeah.
it's a hassle getting out there, and then once it's like for what, a couple hours of fun until you run out of firewood.
I definitely have the
You know what I
body
want to
fat,
try that haven't eaten in forever is a fucking s'more.
bro.
That's why you need to come to the beach with me for a bonfire.
I definitely
If you
have
pick
the
me
body
up,
fat.
I'll go.
I have the
I'm
body
not doing
fat to
any
endure the cold.
And
I
we're
am at
s'mores.
3%, and
Yeah,
let me tell
that
ya,
shit'll just blow right through you.
that's why I wear a heavy jacket.
You're
and,
at
like,
3% body weight?
Yeah, not
Or
body weight,
body fat?
Yeah,
That's ridiculous, dude.
You can see this guy's fucking veins all up his arm. He's fucking ripped.
it's like a
Sick.
roadmap.
97% lean.
97% water and piss,
Mm-hmm.
liquid.
It's a lot
I
of
just
piss going
slosh
through his body.
sometimes because I drink so many liquids.
Why do you eat fucking salad and cereal if you're only 3% body fat? Like, I'm pretty sure I'm a lot of percent body fat, and I really don't care. And I just eat what I want, and I still probably look good. I look good in my eyes, so that's all I really care about.
That's what only matters, dude, is looking good in your own eyes, because someone else is going to see that and think of, like, hey, like, I'm into Chris.
I
They
am.
might
I
be
am
into your body,
looking.
too.
I'm looking to drastically decrease my body fat. I don't know if I'm gonna be ready for how much colder I'm gonna be. 'Cause I've been like I've had a lot of fat on my body for like my
You
entire
always wear a
life.
jacket, though.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever seen you in, like, a short sleeve shirt.
Fucking,
That doesn't mean stripped down in front of me now.
yeah, I'm doing it right now, bro. I'm not fucking gay.
Bro. Yeah, dude,
Check.
he's allergic to pollen. He's not gay.
You know what? I've been suffering because of this pollen shit.
I have too. That
I
means
think
we're
this
not
is
gay,
the
though.
first year that I must have been gay the other 20 years.
So you, like, just turned straight?
I guess
for
so,
you.
because I can't stop fucking sneezing.
Good for you, man.
And
Everyone's
work's
gotta
like,
come
why are you
back into the
sneezing so
closet
much?
every
Why
now
don't
and
you
again.
take some Claritin? I'm like, why don't you back off? Medicine's for sissies. If I get sick, I get sick. I got
Too
my
many
wisdom
people-
teeth coming in on my left side. If you haven't noticed, it looks like I got square punched
Dude,
in the
Dude,
jaw.
I got some coming in sideways. I gotta get him fucking roofed soon.
That
I don't have
sucks
money
cock.
right now. I spent already $1,000 on that new pasta strainer.
Oh, yeah. $1,000 on a pasta strainer.
It's fucking made of gold. It also communicates with the dead.
Wait,
Oh, is that the
is that for real?
What, communicating
The
with
pasta
the dead?
strainer?
What, $1,000 pasta
Yeah.
strainer? Probably out there
Okay.
somewhere.
I,
If I could get it enchanted to talk to the
sometimes
dead,
you
I'd
hear
buy
a
it.
shit post that's so radical that it's just like real, and you just don't realize it. So you gotta ask
I mean,
sometimes.
you ever
That's-
seen Epic? You ever
That's
seen?
a cream soda?
You ever seen Epic Mealtime?
Yes, I have.
Okay, they have like a 500-pound burrito and shit on there too.
It's
So
good.
it's like,
I really, every time that I'm hungry, I watch that show to just make me more hungry. It's like my meta. Or if I haven't eaten until like 6 o'clock that day, like in the afternoon, I'll just like throw on Food Channel stuff.
Food Channel's the
Like,
best.
try-
does
make
that
me
get
hungry.
you more hungry? Or does
It
that
does.
get you? I feel like sometimes it doesn't, but you know what really gets me hungry, which sucks, is the whole fact of watching a food thing or like getting a food candle. I think the food candle or something that smells like cake
Like
or
the
something
smell
you
gets
haven't
you?
eaten forever. Like if you have your room smelling like that, you're gonna end up craving it like in the middle of the night.
This is true.
I watch the fucking YouTube cooking channel called Food Wishes. It's the best shit of all time. Chef John with foodwishes.com.
I like hot ones where they try the hot wings.
Yeah, yeah. that
Dude,
was
I
really
have the last dab. I've tried it before. It's not that hot. I literally dump it on
good.
everything.
Do you have it?
I don't have it any more left in it. I also have Howler Monkey and another one, but I have a bunch of Gordon Ramsay sauces in there too. My buddy orders them, but like my buddy can only handle a tiny bit of the last dab. I dump that shit into my salad. I dump it like it's fucking water on there. I'm like, chick, chick, chick.
My favorite
That's
type
also
of...
why my shits are black.
Yeah, probably.
My favorite dressings...
He didn't believe me until I sent him a picture.
Yeah. It's epic.
My favorite dressings are always like creamy ones, like Chick-fil-A sauce stuff, like salty and creamy type of deal. And
All right,
like
on the
cookout
count of 3, I want you to say the thing you always order at Chick-fil-A. The number. 1, 2, 3. Number 3.
One
It's number 2.
American cheese.
Number 3 is the spicy chicken sandwich, right?
No, that was what it used to be. Now it's number 2.
Shit.
Remember?
Well, it's a spicy chicken sandwich.
Dude, me and him have a story about sitting at Chick-fil-A.
Oh my god.
Oh, y'all?
Dude, 10 minutes we're behind this woman. She's not moving. They haven't even brought her food out, and then she finally pays. No food still. We're sitting there just waiting. I'm like, dude, you got 5 more minutes until I'm getting out of line.
That's pretty ridiculous.
And I did. 5 minutes later. I was like, nope, fuck that.
One time I went and they didn't have any Chick-fil-A sauce and they didn't have any fries, so I told them
fries?
Yeah, so I told them alright, instead of my fries, can you just give me a tub of Chick-fil-A sauce? And then they gave me, they have the catering tubs in the back. So I got a catering tub of Chick-fil-A sauce for absolutely $0. It was a really good time.
What's better than going to a fast food place when they change over from breakfast to...
Dude. See, McDonald's just they don't give a shit and throw everything out. Mm-hmm. Well, actually, no. Now
that's
they do.
What pisses me
now
off.
They do all day breakfast. That's what they used to do.
But that's what pisses me off, dude. Is that they can waste so much food. All those places, donut places that throw food out because it's expiring that day, like grocery stores that throw packaged meats out that day. You can eat it a couple of days if it's not open after expiration date. Either give that shit to some homeless people and end some starvation, dude.
Yeah, but I mean that's not in the company's best interest.
Yeah, but why? You're just going to throw it in the trash and then make the guy go in the trash to get it.
It's capitalism, man.
That's so fucked.
Yeah, it's like feeding stray cats, and they'll keep coming back.
That's what Monopoly was invented about. Did you know that?
And decrease the overall value of the store.
Did you know that?
It was invented about homeless people?
No, Monopoly was invented to teach children the bad parts about capitalism. That
you told me
everything, and they ended up becoming a loving family game.
Mm-hmm.
That's ridiculous.
Well, it's the loving family game because people like getting pissed off about, they like getting that angry, but it's not really angry because I'm just playing a game type of thing with their family members. So it's then you can see shit, I would suck at random luck real estate. That's really all it's all about.
And real estate isn't random luck. So,
would you ever want to own your own property?
Yes.
Yes.
For 4,000%.
Why?
So you can either flip a property, increase the value of it on your own and then sell it, or just have your own land.
If you buy a house with multiple rooms that you're going to want to keep for the rest of your life, you rent out the rest of the rooms while you don't have a family, and those rooms end up paying your mortgage and the utility bills. That's the way to do it. Because then you just and if you have a bunch of extra land, fuck it, just start building buildings in there.
Holy shit.
Yeah, man, it's called house hacking.
What would you own if you were going to own a property?
I would buy a plot of land, most likely. Is this considering I have unlimited funding and time?
Yes.
Okay. If I had dream would be to buy a gigantic property and build a bunch of tiny houses on it, and have the tiny houses be specific to rooms, because I like walking outside to begin with. If it's raining, I don't give a fuck. But have one shack be the dedicated solar array, battery bank, and then run cables underground to my computer room, and then run or my computer tiny house, and then run cables over to my sleeping house, and then so on and so forth. And then you have one kind of big awning in parks and stuff where you just have tables and you can invite friends over and shit. I'd dig a fucking lake. That'd be something so crazy.
You know Howie Mandel? The guy that did Deal or No Deal?
Yes.
He's so much of a germaphobe that he bought another house, so when he has people over and they're using his bathroom, he makes them go to the other house, or he will go to the other house.
Wow.
He does not like germs at all. Shaking hands. I'm like, damn, how are you a TV show host? And then I watched some of the stuff, I realized he never touches their hands.
Never, ever.
He literally gets his hand closer to their back where it's just hovering over the back.
Mm-hmm.
I just thought it was a sexual thing. You didn't want to touch him because you didn't want to get sued for being sexually harassing to somebody.
That's probably why he was a really good TV personality, because he was scared to touch people.
But who's the most popular TV personality that you see nowadays?
Steve Harvey.
Steve Harvey, exactly.
Mm-hmm. He's the crazy evangelical Christian man.
Yeah,
Steve Harvey used to be a major comedian.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Steve Harvey's hilarious.
I'm addicted to my wife's what? And then someone's cooking, and then someone's vagina, and Steve Harvey goes ooh, and it's well, what do you expect them to say?
He has the face.
You think these people said vagina?
Mm-hmm.
That's what he says.
Yeah, I know.
Survey says. Number one.
Show me
vagina.
I love the part. He goes, what was one thing you wouldn't want to see if you were robbing a house? Hey, Grandma. Nicky, what?
What? Yeah, he has the most expressive, hilarious face.
It's those damn
of all
horse
time.
teeth he's got in his mouth. He's got
Like,
these big fuckers.
He has the biggest smile, the whitest teeth, the most expressive eyes. Like he's made for like being the host of Family Feud. Like
Whenever people make memes of like his smile, like his eyes and his smile, onto like an animal, and you see him comment on it, like, please stop. That's the fucking best.
I like the I like how like celebrities can interact with people on like certain posts and stuff, because it's like you don't want to interact with everyone because it's obviously impossible to interact with everyone. But like when people send their meals into Gordon Ramsay and he like rates it,
that is pretty fucking
I rate
good.
that burnt as shit. Like that stuff's so funny.
Mm-hmm.
Like the whole thing where the woman had like rate my food and it's like bologna sandwich and cheese. And it looked like a World War II lunch, and that's what Gordon Ramsay said. Like, that's funny as shit, man.
Looks like it's World War II ration pack.
Gordon Ramsay is the, like, god of everything. He's such a good guy, and, like, he also just shits on people.
Well, he literally is the face of food, like, the Food Network thing. You used to be like Super Chef Bobby Clay with the spiked up hair and stuff.
Yeah.
But now it's Gordon Ramsay, and I believe that's because he has a knack. Like, he's the yelling guy.
He can yell and just shit on people relentlessly.
Yeah.
And yet he can also just maintain, like, being a really good guy on top of that. And, like, he's really endearing.
You ever seen his YouTube channel with his daughter?
It's the best.
He's like a super nice guy.
Yeah.
Have you seen the, like, what? It's The Greatest Chef or whatever, like, but it's, like, the child version and he still rates it.
Little Big, or no.
And he's just so supportive of everyone, even if they're losing. He's like, hey, you did great. Like it's the most endearing, cute shit.
Yeah, he's not an asshole.
Mm-hmm. He's an asshole to people who claim to be professional chefs.
He was on Hot Ones, and he ate the last wing, and he chugged a bottle of Pepto-Bismol. I was like, what the fuck? Like, he literally poured out Pepto. He's like, let's do this, drank it, and then bit the wing. I was like, what just
to stop heartburn?
Yeah, he's getting old.
He's probably like, he probably knows every single like chemical combination you could do with any sort of food to like make your stomach great. Okay. Yeah, Gordon Ramsay's a legend though.
He's like when he's on a show, like, and getting pissed off at like professional like restaurants that like are just
it's the
like
places
he's
that
like,
claim
this
to
is
be
fucking
professional.
dangerous.
The
like,
ones that
stop.
The ones that don't listen to him, and the ones that claim to be professional are the ones that he like gets pissed at. Like, because other than that, he's like a pretty nice dude overall about things. But a lot of people think that they're right because it's like, oh, I've been doing this for years. It's like, yeah, well, why is your business failing? Like,
well, the U.S. version of that show, Kitchen Nightmares, it's reality TV garbage.
Yeah.
But the UK version, the original, that's when he actually goes in and like helps a bunch of businesses and gets actually mad when they don't listen.
Hotel Hell was really good. Have you seen that?
Oh, I haven't seen that.
Dude, it's
that's with Gordon Ramsay too, right?
Yeah, it's free on YouTube. He goes into hotels and he just fucking like, the hotels normally have kitchens and stuff too, but like he owns a few hotels himself, so he's like, he goes into like people's hotels and he's like, he like rates them like he stays the night and he like just finds every little thing wrong with it.
Yeah.
And just tells them about it, like stuff that hotel owners should know to look for, but like they don't, and he just points it out.
Like,
it's fucking sweet.
I remember the best episode of the like original UK Kitchen Nightmares was he found like he just went to this like soul food restaurant, just like this nice old black lady, like, and he's like, this is like one of the best meals I've ever had coming to like a restaurant, but you don't advertise at all.
Yeah.
And he's like, you just have to like do what I tell you to advertise your stuff. Like you got to get your message out there.
Do you remember what the name was? Because like if I'm ever down south, I always wanted to go taste like one of those black ladies who calls you sugar at the counter.
Well, this isn't in London.
Oh my god, are you kidding?
No, not at all.
You can get good chicken anywhere in the world, I guess.
Like it's just like
you know what I'm talking about, like
homemade,
the people
home
who
recipe
have, like,
baked beans, like homemade fried chicken, like it's.
I'm saying
he's like this is just great.
I want authentic, like African American Southern chicken at some point.
Like it was just a soul
best.
food restaurant. He's like, this is actually
See,
really good.
Like, I hear the mac and cheese is good. I hear the beans are good. I hear everything's good. I could go any day without that. It's just I am a chicken fiend, and
Dude,
I hear there's
like-
nothing better than traditional Southern chicken.
Like,
that
yeah.
is something I want to try really bad. But damn, I don't want to
Yeah.
go to London for that chicken.
if you're listening to this and you've only seen the like actual trash garbage core like horrible American kitchen nightmares where Gordon Ramsay just yells at a bunch of like fake actors, watch the UK version. It's actually amazing.
I haven't even watched it yet, dude.
Dude, like
Look,
you'll get into
crazy.
watching episodes of that shit on YouTube and like you watch like
You
it-
just end up binging.
like
them.
you start at like 8 p.m. then it's like 5 in the morning. Like
Ooh, you know what? Unrelated, but this happened to me just before I came here. But I was I play on this World of Warcraft private server with Trask and a few coworkers
Yeah.
at work, and
has Trask been on this yet?
no, he hasn't. I tried to get him to, but it's classless, right? So like you
Yeah.
don't have any.
Gentlemen,
Hello.
Hey, what's up, guys?
Oh.
How's it going, man?
this is
What's up?
my... Corey, get a haircut too. It looks
Chris.
Nice to meet you,
Nice
Chris.
to meet you, man.
good. Take a seat, buddy.
Oh, my shoes.
I was in the middle of saying, I play on this World of Warcraft private server that's like classless, so like you can get any spell, and like they just released a new season. It's still in like the early game, like they're patching the game as it goes, from like the first game and like throughout all the expansions and stuff. But there's this server where you don't know what ability you're gonna get next, so you could like have a good synergy with your abilities, or you could just have like a bunch of trash spells that don't do
You
anything.
could throw you a curveball.
Yeah, exactly. Like you, like, oh shit, my build's awesome. Like I'm gonna do damage, and then all of a sudden you get like Track Beast, which does literally nothing. So it's like, but at any time, you can turn on this thing called malicious intent, and you can attack any player, and if they die, they drop their stuff.
Do you like that?
So it's like, I was playing. I just added some random dude earlier. This group of 4 people came over and ganked us with that. Like they just turned it on. I got another guy. They were about to go do a boss that's like really fucking hard to get to. So this chick I was with runs up to the boss room, tags it first, and then they kill it, and we get the quest reward. And it's like a 20-minute wait for this boss to respawn. They end up killing us, but it's like we had like level 20 loot, so it's like what the fuck ever. And like
Dude,
we got the fucking epic quest with doing nothing.
I completely
yeah.
lost track of this
I'm sorry,
fucking story.
I was
I
talking
take a
one-on-one-
piss for 5 minutes.
I was talking one-on-one with him, and then I got
We
sidetracked
went from
with
Gordon Ramsay down to World of Warcraft.
get Matt Murphy. You will ruin his like life and career because he'll just stop his entire life and play WoW with
I
you,
told
dude.
him to do it, and he won't do it. With
Like
me
he
because
knows he will
He
just
knows.
die.
This is where, Corey, this is where we talk about gaming being very addictive, is when you look at these two gentlemen, because these two gentlemen are...
We
I'm
all
not-
have our
Dog,
places.
I haven't played a video game in like a year. I hate video games.
I love video games. I just have.
It's,
I really.
it's
haven't
your attention span.
played
Like
them.
you can't do it anymore. Like this used to be my old room, is the new podcast room. So like my giant TV would sit right there, and you're just laying on this bed. You have no gaming chair. Without a gaming chair, you essentially have no willingness to game. Like,
Yeah.
it's just completely gone. And honestly, games nowadays are not very fun. Like I don't like playing multiplayer. Like I like the old.
They look like they're a lot of fun to me. Like,
Really?
dude, a lot of
I
my
just
friends are
suck
playing.
at
Like,
them.
I'm trying to think. Was it
Safe.
Red Dead?
Oh yeah,
Redemption?
Oh,
Red
yeah,
Dead
the
Redemption
second
looks
That
pretty
one looks
good.
cool. The
Don't say Fortnite because I've never.
no, I wasn't
I've
gonna say
never played that
Fortnite.
game.
It was a recent space one.
But you see now, they're like all the hype
Space.
games. I'm with you there, Rob, because like I'm not
Shoot.
into like the hype games anymore. Like Red Dead comes out, I don't want to blow $60 on something. You know, like it's not. I liked the original Red Dead, but who's to tell me that the $60 is going to be worth it? Game developers have started just completely railing us.
$60
I
is
used to
a
be
chunk.
able-
Yeah,
I used to be able to blow like 30 hours playing like fucking SpongeBob Battle for Bikini Bottom because it's just so fun. And now I can like play an hour of like a $60 game I just
And
bought and
you're
get
set.
bored.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, that's it. Yeah,
That's probably more on us.
yeah,
I think
probably.
Like,
so.
and how
I think
we've
it's
been
just because of like
wired and molded our whole lives, and now we're just kind of like overloaded on just so much. You know, like it's like for me, I'm that way with TV. I'm really that way with TV
Yeah.
a lot, where I'm like, I've seen this so many times. Like it's the
same
vampire
shit going-
show. It's the same this and that. Trust me, I like all those things.
But now,
like it's
Twilight is an England version, so
There
it's
you go.
different. It's a whole new story.
I mean, I probably shouldn't have used vampires, but like it
Yeah,
could be anything.
Yeah,
it's just
like
so
the same
recycled.
thematic.
Yeah.
I
It's
get
like
it.
The
same
Walking
storyline,
Dead.
same arcs and stuff. You're like, called it.
Like
Yeah,
every
exactly.
story has
It's-
been told
it's
before.
The Walking
in just a
Dead, dude.
different.
They show you everything in the trailer anyways, then you're already like, I already know what happens in half of this movie.
Yeah,
So now
Like
half
something
is
has to
interested.
be like exceptional for me to actually want to watch it.
I do want to watch. Was it Avengers?
That
Endgame.
movie's
Endgame.
3 hours long.
I'm gonna go see it tomorrow.
I might too.
Do you want to go see it tomorrow?
I haven't been to a movie theater.
We
in
might
quite
not
some
be able to
time.
get tickets.
Sun and Surf, dude.
Oh,
Yeah,
I
that's
already
true.
got 'em.
That's
Dude.
true.
Our new one.
Oh.
Let's go Saturday then.
I think I'm gonna go in the morning one of these days, so like I
Matinee.
don't get a shitty crowd and like.
Well, me and my
That's a good
buddy,
plan.
were gonna go in the morning on like Tuesday, on when I had a day off. So I was like, hey, Corey, if you wanted to go, and
Let's
then
just
I'll
go
take
see it,
you.
dude.
Yeah,
Like,
let's-
that'll be fun.
We'll do a couple podcasts too. You don't know about my spin-off series. Well, you haven't. For the people that
Yeah.
are listening, this is my cousin Cory,
What up?
long lost cousin. But you were telling me about bioengineering and mechanics and all that stuff. So what are you really studying in school?
Well, I'm not studying any of that in school. I'm doing new media design and imaging. So it's like web design and coding and 3D and motion graphics and stuff like that.
So did your passion kind of change from when the last time you were on? Last time you were telling me
no,
you were into
that's-
bioengineering.
Definitely still on the bioengineering path. The thing is for me, that's not gonna really take hold until probably a year and a half out, because so I want to do bioengineering, or I want to do something along those lines and go to hopefully Carnegie Mellon in
Hell
Pittsburgh.
yeah.
That's like my goal. We'll see if that happens. But either way, for me to move on and like to have a good chance of getting into another school like that, especially in a field that I'm not that familiar with, is me finishing RIT, me finishing my new media design degree. Because then once I have a bachelor's, it's going to be a lot easier for me to transfer into another school and start another program versus like just going in cold.
Maybe you can help me get some video in here. Chris was saying I have a host position face.
Yeah,
or
do
something.
that. Like, look at his fit. Like, that angle right there.
Mhm.
See what I'm saying? Like, that's like...
Don't pay attention to the swollen cheek over here. and
Well,
wisdom
like, I'm
tooth.
saying, like, at that angle, like, if you had two cameras pointed, like, V,
Mhm.
just, like, perfect, like, interviewer on, like, either, like, late night or, like, midday, you know?
Especially if
something
you like
that.
wear a suit, slick your hair back. with
Yeah,
some
exactly.
gel.
I'm saying, you should, like...
You
like, try to
actually
get a
you
TV
have the
program.
facial
Yeah, that's some
profile,
good
bro.
cinematography shit right there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm being emasculated. I feel uncomfortable.
Well, it's not emasculated.
No, you're being
emasculated.
I'm a beta, okay.
Sorry, guys.
I'm a fish that sits in a bowl. And you don't do anything but just watch me. Toss me a
Or
cream.
put another beta next to him.
Yeah.
Another beta. What happens when you get 4 betas in a ring?
I never understood why they
You
called
get
them.
You
one.
kill each other.
You get
That's
one.
what beta fish do.
One alpha? Dude, I mean, I wouldn't mind going to see Avengers, but it's a 3-hour fucking movie.
That's see, like
I need shit
I have to
breaks.
dedicate
I do
an
have
entire
some
fucking
ADD
morning.
there. Like,
Well, last movie I saw was King Kong in theaters when I was a little kid. Fuck, that movie felt like it never ended. It was like 3 hours later. I'm like, can they just kill him? Can he climb the Statue of Liberty or whatever the hell he's climbing, the Empire State Building, and just die already?
Sun and Surf opens at 10 a.m. You go and see Avengers. So I'm not getting out till 1 p.m.
wow.
By the way,
But
guys,
probably worth it. It is
It'll,
sort of
it
like
will
a-
be worth
I
it.
have
Yeah.
to wake up early tomorrow, so I might have to head out soon.
I'll probably have to go with you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you can just
Nice
roll
to
with
meet
it.
you guys.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah, bro.
Love show. We'll definitely check out Avengers.
So bad.
Are you guys leaving now?
So
I'm about to head out, I think, because
He's gonna pop.
I do need to. Yeah, he needs to pee.
Dude, I had to piss too during the middle of it, and I left for like 5 minutes. I found you downstairs.
Mhm.
Yeah, like so I finished my sandwich probably like 10 minutes before you came down, and I was like, I was really thinking, I was like, I could come up there, but I feel like they're probably wrapping up and whatever. And that's exactly what I just did.
There you go. Yeah. See, now you guys can do the one-on-one interview.
Yeah, there you go.
Interview. Well, sit down, Corey.
Gotta do the V cameras though. I like that idea.
Well,
All right. Well, again,
Yeah.
nice meeting you, man.
Nice to meet you.
Chris.
Robbie. Thanks for having me again, dude.
No problem.
And I will see you later. We'll probably podcast next week or something.
You want to fill in the blank? Do Thursday or whatever.
Drive
Yeah.
fast, take chances.
Yeah. That's a good motto. So, tell me about that bus ride, man. Where were you coming from in Pittsburgh?
No, I was coming from Rochester, and that was so I went from Rochester, New York City, to Philly, to somewhere in there in Baltimore.
And how was it, dude? I mean, like 15.
Salisbury.
It was 15 hours on a bus, right?
Yeah,
Total?
I guess. Yeah.
That didn't piss you off. You didn't get the crazy. Were you the
Actually,
crazy
I think
guy?
it was
that
19 hours.
Jesus. Were you sitting next to the crazy guy at all, or were the crazy guy?
You know what? I lucked out. On my way to. Well, actually, okay. On my way to New York City, I had to sit with somebody, but I had to switch buses like 3 or 4 times. And every other ride from that point on, I had my own seat. And I've actually thought about this too, like when there's only so much room on a bus, and like you're like, I don't want them to sit next to me. There's like 2 people looking around like, where should I sit? And everyone on the bus is like hoping that they sit somewhere else. See you later, man.
Wait, dude.
I was thinking about that. I was like, is that wrong?
Well, pull your book bag up and put it on the seat beside you.
Well, everybody had that, but I was
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
I was taking it another notch. I was like, let's scowl face out the window or something.
Just put on like a pissed off look with headphones in.
Yeah.
Fart and then be like, I didn't do it, obviously, because I have headphones in.
But if anyone had like come up to the chair or whatever, it would have been like all smiles.
You know, the one thing, I see that now when I see a 19-hour bus ride, I say, like, as long as I have my recorder, like, podcasting on me, I'd be pretty sick, because you don't know who you would meet on a bus, man.
It's true.
You'd be like Forrest Gump. I can go anywhere in these shows. No.
I feel like that's totally.
It's a good way to look at something if you got it. You know, if you got time to kill or something. I think about bringing my podcast recorder into work on slow days.
You're gonna find some of your best quotes and moments. I think when it's at just au natural. You know what I mean?
Like, what if it's at a bonfire at 2 a.m. and you're forming those bonds that you have with people.
Right.
That, like, you wish, like, you don't know what was said, but you know that, like, you'll remember that conversation and you'll have that moment with that person forever. That's the main reason why I wanted my podcast recorder. I wanted to do, like, a special series before Fill in the Blank became one that was narrowed on specific topics. It was going to be, like, going to restaurants and getting the story there. Like, what conversations are you having when you're just having a burger with a friend? But there's a point where you don't want to be the asshole that brings a recorder every time he goes out.
Okay, so that was a problem. That's also a problem for, like, photographers, because
you don't know when you can miss the perfect shot.
Like, all the time, there's so many perfect shots when people aren't posing, and when they don't know there's a camera around. But you could go, and I have done this. This was like 10 years ago. We had this. It was like one of my first cell phones or whatever. Like, sometimes I would record things, and I'd be like, I totally record that. And they'd be like, what? That's hilarious, whatever. But then, like, I feel like there were a couple times where it was like, I realized it would have been either A, too awkward, or B, it would have affected the situation and, like, changed the dynamic.
The tone of it,
The tone of it, you know? Like, even now, we're speaking like we know that there's a microphone in the room, you know?
But sometimes you forget, but your brain always
exactly.
kind of comes
That is
back
nice.
to it.
It is nice that, like, sometimes you forget, and then that's when you really hit, you know,
Your
the good
stride.
stuff. Yeah. So it's funny how that changes things.
Well, why is it so weird that, like, we can bring our phones as a camera and recorder and be able to actually, like, that's not seen as weird. Like, if you pull out your phone and take a bunch of pictures randomly, like, that's not weird. That's just like, okay, you're Instagramming your food.
But if you did it of me, I started taking pictures of you.
But with an actual camera.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if I take out, like, if I have a full-on, like, $800, like, nice Nixon, whatever we want to call it, computer. I don't know if Dyson's a computer. I'm pretty sure it's a vacuum. But
That'll
like
work.
just pulling that out and taking a picture, like that's weird. Like why are you doing this at a restaurant, man? You're just like focusing the lens and make sure the light's
That's
right.
me.
Like
That's totally me.
like I don't diss that because dude, we should definitely take a trip up to Aztec. I'll drive us up there like really early in the morning or something, and we get the sunrise and something, dude. And
See some horses.
yeah, man, for sure. You know 9 Mile Roots, that band, they play at Secrets, but the singer, he just invited me on his boat to do a podcast. Like, have a podcast on his boat. I can see if we can go with him.
That would be cool.
And you get to ride on the boat, and, like, I'll podcast with him, have you on there, too. And then he'll be, like, fishing and stuff, and he told me he's going to take us all to the secret spots and stuff that he used to go to.
Nice. I love fishing.
We can go over to Aztec, to the one part of Aztec you need a boat to get over to.
Dude, fishing at Aztec would... Oh, that'd be so cool.
Dude, you should see the horses that are down there, man.
I really have been wanting I've been wanting to see the horses.
Once I get through this week and everything, dude, I'm off basically Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. But once Monday's over, I'm done with all exams. My graduation's in May,
Dude,
which
that's
I'm
awesome.
hoping you're coming to, dude.
Yeah, oh yeah, I'll be there.
Cause I still gotta pay $50 for a gown, but then I get my associates. I'm gonna further my education, but like I want to go I'll take us to Aztec early ass morning. Like I'm up 5 in the morning. You're gonna hear me in the morning. I'm up 5 in the morning. I don't go to work until like 8:30. But even on my days off, I'm not getting shit done. I'm having podcasts sometimes over at like 6.
Mm-hmm.
Like depending on who it is, I've interviewed transgender people. I've interviewed so many people that were like, it's been 68 different interviews now. So it's like
That's so awesome.
it's crazy because like everyone's like a story and it's nice to
Right.
hear it all. But like I also want to get into taking pictures and stuff too because like I've been fascinated with that. Just like I remember times I'd be skating on the boardwalk and I'll just stop and my buddy would turn around, I'm not there. And he's like, what's going on? He comes back like 3 streets, I'm in an alley, like, dude, the light hits this so perfectly and you can just capture the perfect shot. And it's like, it's cool to have that image in your mind, like, be able to remember it instead of
be able to remember it.
Yeah, to be able to live in it too, but also at the same time to not forget it by having evidence. Like, you should see what I saw because you can't see what I see through my eyes.
Right.
You see only what you can see, and what you've experienced affects what you can see. But pictures, art, that's letting somebody into your mind's perspective. When I see an artwork, I went to a museum and I saw like these wonderful, beautiful, like Van Gogh paintings, Starry Night. Like, did you know this Starry Night painting that I have hanging here is from his insane asylum, like his window? This is his lookout from his window.
I didn't.
Now some of this stuff might be like a little bit more abstract and added, but he was overlooking a town, and this is what he saw. It's
From an asylum.
well, like a mental institution. He was up in his room and had it, like his cell and everything, and he painted that. And it's to think, like, you hear that, and you're like, okay, he obviously had a meaning of it. And then you see someone that just looks like they grabbed a paintbrush and flicked it across the canvas. Like, this dude obviously didn't try. Or this dude put a dot on a blank canvas. Doesn't matter, that canvas is marked. That dot represents something. It's really interpretive art. That's what I like about music and I like about art is you can interpret whatever you want from it. Whatever you picture your mind to it. Like, I wrote a paper on psychoanalysis and art. Got an A on it. Because like your expression for something, nobody can tell you what a thing makes you feel because you've had different experiences in your life that have affected you and have affected me differently. Like I have experiences that you might have never had. You've had experiences I've never had.
Right, subjective versus objective too. Like, I mean, everyone can be looking at the exact same thing
and see a million different things.
see a million different things.
Same thing with clouds. Like, nobody ever sees the same thing in clouds. Like the Rorschach test, those little blob things.
Yeah,
like
it's a
you're
perfect
looking
example.
at it. Like, it's commonly used in therapy, and it's meant to get to the subconscious of things. But like, I like how our brains can, link
Reveal.
can reveal secrets about ourselves. Like, you ever just walk into a store and smell something and be like, oh, and it brings you back to like a sense of like a memory you had that you totally forgot about. Like, that's a fucking awesome feeling.
I think they say that smell is the strongest memory trigger or something like that.
It's linked to your memory.
And I would have to agree because there have been times where like, yeah, it's a smell and it's like for half a second and it's just like boom, I'm back to where I was like 15 years ago in this room when something was burning or whatever it was, like it is funny how like it can be that sharp of a memory that you totally forgot, but like it's like
Sends you back.
recalling.
It's
It's
like a
like,
huge
hey, recall
flashback.
this. Yeah.
It's like a DVD playing off in your head. See, I have this weird talent. I can smell people's scents. I don't know what it is, but everyone has a specific scent,
Oh, for sure.
and I can smell it. Like I can smell like
That's good.
I like people like this one dude plays a game with me at work about it because like I can smell who was just on the elevator or who was just on there, and
That's
like
funny.
I can smell. So he'd be like, "Who was just on the elevator?" I was like, "It was the housekeeper Dawn was definitely on the elevator." And he goes, "How do you know that?" I'm like, "I could smell her scent." And he goes, "Okay, let's go talk to her. Go up there, Dawn. Were you just on the elevator?" "Yeah, I just got off." Every time,
Right.
100 out of 100.
That's awesome.
I don't know how I can do it. It's just like as soon as you
You
step in,
have
I'm like,
better sense of smell.
yeah, but that's like the one sense I always was like, if I had to lose one, I'd rather lose my sense of smell or touch.
What? Dude, okay, hang on. Well, okay, all right.
Would you rather be
The
blind?
only reason I responded that way was because you lose your taste if you lose your smell. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but well,
Most of your taste senses come from being able to breathe out of your nose. In the smells.
then what's the point of sense of touch? I know you wouldn't be able to feel things, but like, oh, so you wouldn't feel like you were in pain?
I've actually seen stuff with that where like, yeah, somebody couldn't feel pain in certain parts of their bodies anymore.
Well, have you heard about those people that are born with their sensors mixed? Like a pain feels good, like things that would be painful to us. Like if I took my hand and
Interesting.
stuck it on a stove, it hurt. But to someone else, that's seen as like a joy and like a
Interesting.
sense of like a sexual arousement too.
Not sure. Well, that yeah, but like, not. I guess I haven't heard of that, the first one, just because. But I'm not surprised about it in any way. Like that does make sense to me. You know, sure that could be a possibility.
And it's weird because good things feel bad to them.
Right.
Like water, like a nice like warm shower or something, like something that soothes your skin or nice something cool and refreshing. It's just painful to them. It feels like shards of glass. But like a nice super hot shower that's like burning your skin is nice to them. Their body still gets affected by it in the same way our bodies do, but their brain just senses that as a sense of relaxation. Like the wires are mixed. And it really, that's what fascinates my mind with the whole, the aspect of the human brain. First of all, how much we don't understand about it, like space and everything, but like our minds are complicated things. Like you gotta think, like, when it comes to football, like, you know, your brain is literally the way people describe CTE or whatever that is, the thing that, like, most, like, people die from early because of the brain trauma and stuff from tackles. Your head is literally in a car. Now, imagine if your head is encased in this car with no airbags. So there's no seatbelt, no airbags. So when you get bumped forward, your brain hits the front of the car, goes right back. Nothing's stopping it in there. There's no helmet for your brain.
Mm-hmm.
There's a helmet for your head, but you know, you got to think how many times it's going to crack against the wall and what can go wrong after all that. Your brain's so sensitive.
Yeah.
Like it's just.
Well, I mean, you look at boxers in their retirement, and half of them can't say words correctly. Like they're like slurring and like, yeah. I mean, especially Muhammad Ali, you can hardly understand the guy. But like that. But people, you know, just kind of accept, oh, that comes with the territory, but they don't really think, oh yeah, duh, like, this applies to, like, all forms of life, and, like, you take too many knocks to the head, it's gonna show.
There's a disorder where a woman fell, hit her head in a certain way, and she came up and spoke Chinese.
Cool.
Like, she does not speak English anymore. She go, I have not spoken a tongue in 3 years now. And she's a white woman.
Wow.
And you think it's joking and it's racist, but no, she sounds like a Chinese woman now. She was from England, had a British accent, everything.
Wow.
And just speaks like that. Like, and there's a dude, what I really feel bad about is he has a thing called Never Stop, it's like Never Stop Coming. And he literally every 30 seconds comes. Can you imagine how like difficult that must
actually,
be?
yeah, I have heard of that with women.
Persistent
too.
arousal syndrome.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. Like
Right,
not being able to function.
That would be so debilitating. It'd be so debilitating.
Like yeah, you literally like you're at a funeral.
Life ruining.
It's crazy to think how like sudden knock to the head. There's obviously good knocks to the head, like someone that's blind hitting their head in a certain way, and next thing you know, their sight being restored. Like, it's a rare occasion, but it's so much easier to lose it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's why, like, when we say take grasp of situations and take grasp of, like, what you have, you really have to take grasp of this stuff because you don't know when you could lose it.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine, like, you know, one day you hit your head and next thing you know you can't see or next thing you know you can't hear. I mean, you got to kind of look at the light in that situation, you know. Apparently another one of your senses is going to get better. But, you know, like, you get a dog, I guess, if you get blind, but... You know, I mean,
Right.
buy one anyway. But it's just the fact. Like, there's a TV show that just popped up on Netflix about a blind woman or whatever, and it's just her life through it, and she just doesn't give a shit, banging guys, doing all this stuff that are married and everything, just not giving a crap. Like,
Interesting.
and she
What's it called?
I don't know the name of the show, to be honest with you. I haven't really watched an episode.
I
just seen the trailer.
I mean,
It's just difficult to think because, like, you see, like, I saw a video of Stevie Wonder doing a free throw at a basketball court. Now, you know Stevie Wonder's blind.
mm,
And he missed. And everyone's like, oh. But I'm like, how hard would it have just been for everyone to cheer? Like, he made it and made him think that he made it.
right.
You know what I mean?
Oh, because, well, for one, he would know.
How
Like-
would he know he's blind?
Oh, no, bro. Like, most blind people are incredibly, like, perceptive. It's like through their audio. It's like having their own set of eyes. Have you seen the kid who can play video games but he's blind?
Mm-mm.
He can play like certain types of video games because all you need is like the sound. He'd be like beating his brothers and sisters and stuff. And it's like echolocation or you know I don't
Like a
know
bat?
or like the first Daredevil movie.
Daredevil, yes.
Yeah.
That's what I was coming to.
Yeah,
that always
like-
freaks me out because, like, he could see it like sonar.
And I think a lot. I mean, I don't think it looks like that to blind people, but blind people can see in that way because the sound sounds different when it's closer or farther away, or depending on what the surfaces it's reflecting off of. They'll hear more, like just how you have a heightened sense of smell. You know how they say if you take away one scent, it'll heighten your other ones.
Yeah.
For sure, that happens with blind people, and like. Yeah, they can hear and see so much based upon what they're hearing. Like, there's more objects around them, you know, and things like that because it's like changing the sound that they're hearing, which is dope. That's just made me think about something that I thought was cool. I think it was for soldiers or something. But they made this little device that, like, goes on the end of your tongue and helps blind people see. Like, because they're actually, like, processing that sense through their tongue instead, kind of like how blind people experience the world and see, quote unquote, the world
With their hands.
or hands or the audio. You
Yeah.
know? So it's like,
Well, how far until we have a chip where you can just screw that into the back of your head or something, and next thing you know, your vision's restored? I mean, there's.
I think we're probably a little farther away than I had thought previously, but definitely before we're already restoring sight in certain people.
We're restoring
anyway.
hearing
And
faster
hearing.
than we are sight, though. For some
Right.
reason, we can work better with ears than we can with eyes.
Mm-hmm.
But you see that woman that paid a doctor to drop acid in her eyes to blind her? There's people that do that.
Well, I'm just telling you right now, you're not gonna. Oh, acid. I thought you meant like acid, like drop Lucy or drugs.
No, they didn't take a drug and then go blind from it. No,
I was gonna say I know people who have dropped acid in their eyeballs before. Okay, all right. So that acid, the bad acid.
like it's like sulfuric acid or something that burns your retinas and stuff, like this
That's
weird
horrific.
shit. Like, and they're paying to have that done. Like, doctors are doing that. Like, what person is that mentally stable? Why do you want to be a blind person? Like, you were gifted with the thing of sight. You know, be happy that you have it.
Define stable.
I don't know, man. That's what makes me think. If you look behind you, you see the strength, perception, endurance, charisma, intelligence, agility, and luck posters. They spell out special. Well, if you ever play Fallout or some game like that, basically it's the whole fascination, like games I'm fascinated with. You get a character and you get to build them up anyway. You get 10 points Each skill goes up to 10 points or whatever, and you get to put a certain amount of numbers. You get like 30 or 45 points total to start the game. You just put whatever in which category. Which would you put all your stuff into?
Destiny. That was what I was thinking.
So you got strength, being super strong, being able to punch stuff. Perception, that's your senses, being able to look and find stuff better. Especially, I guess it would depend on your scenario.
Intelligence.
You put all yours in intelligence?
Yep.
And what else would you do with the rest of your points?
Well, I thought I put all my points in intelligence.
You can't, it only goes up to 10. You got, let's say, 40. So if you put 10 points into intelligence, that's as high as it goes.
So I get 3 more choices?
Yeah, or you can split it up, like 2 with strength, 8 with perception. It's fascinating because you really look at everything. Why do you want intelligence? You want to be so smart that you feel like you can't have a conversation with somebody?
No, I want to be so smart that I can overcome all those other issues with my frickin' brains. Like, I won't need luck because I've learned so much that I can make my own luck. You know what I mean? Like, I don't need strength because I've learned how to make a robot that's stronger than a strong man. You know what I mean?
Brains
like,
over bronze.
Right. Work smarter, not harder type of a thing. And like, perception's important. I'm just trying to think like
Okay,
how
imagine you're the smartest guy in the world, but you're stuck in a freaking chair like Stephen Hawking.
Well, actually, that's exactly what I thought of when I pointed to that. Because you still win. You still win.
Yeah,
and
he was extremely sexual.
And like yeah.
Abusive.
But like you said, it's you could lose your eyesight or like you lose your hearing or something. And that's the truth. Like tomorrow is never guaranteed. You don't even know if you're gonna wake up. You don't know if you're gonna have some random stroke or aneurysm or frickin' plane falls out of the sky or like a car hits you or you slip and fall and screw up your leg for the rest of your life or whatever. Like you don't know what's gonna happen.
You don't even think about it most of the time.
I actually do think about it on a probably too much. There's a I want to say it's a Buddhist technique or practice, which is like following the breath, and that's all it is. You're just aware down to like the second of what's going on. You're essentially being aware of whenever you're breathing in and I'm breathing out. I'm breathing in, breathing out. But like this is just all day, like talking to people, this and that, whatever. Like you're just aware because you're not guaranteed that next breath, and that's all it takes to end you. Like if you don't take your next breath in, you're dead, which is crazy how fragile we are in that sense.
Well, we're just all giant bags of blood too. You gotta think, like,
right.
You know how sensitive we are. That it's just amazing that we're not popping all over the place.
Right, and I find that just that in itself is crazy. So I count my lucky stars. Maybe not. I don't follow my breath like all the time or whatever, but I would say pretty frequently throughout the day.
I try and take moments of like taking grasp of a situation, especially like seeing this table here, being able to tap it and feel the touch of it. Like that's where I do think like it would be terrible to lose a sense of touch because like there's certain things I think that people have that they could live without, and certain things that people have when it comes to how their body works, like that they need. Like different people find different things more of like a popular interest in their mind, but it scares me because usually that person that's like I would never want to lose my sight ends up losing it. You know what I mean? Like the person that did be the worst fear in the world. It's hard to think. Like I just couldn't picture it happening one day, just waking up and not being able to wake up.
I'm like gonna like confess something here and feel really bad about, but whatever, it is what it is. At one point, I like made a joke. Oh, I remember I was going through a toll booth or something, and I said thank you, but I said it in a like I acted like I was deaf, and I did it as a joke to be humorous and to people in the car and whatever. And they all died laughing.
I would
Whatever.
have laughed my ass off.
Right. And I, honestly, executed her pretty believably. But I think it was then that I, took a step back for some reason and really thought about it. And I just couldn't do that again after that point. Like, maybe, like, sometime here and there or something, very few and far between, I might have some sort of joke at somebody else's expense. But I hardly ever do that anymore because I look at that like, almost like, not karma, but, like instant karma, but like a jinx or something. Like,
yeah.
Like, how dare you sick person, make fun of somebody who has...
You're not really making fun of somebody, I don't think. I think
you're making fun at their expense.
You thought a little bit deep into it. Now, where if you were doing it to a person, like mocking a person would be making fun of
Yes,
them.
okay, alright. Well, all right.
Was the lady
true.
deaf at the teller?
No, but
Oh,
that
okay.
is... I guess that's where I equated it
That's
to.
a shitty job to be
What you
deaf.
just said. So, like, for me, I try not to do that anymore because I just... Why? Why use other people at their expense? And especially when it could happen to you at any time, and then you're really gonna, what are you gonna do then?
Yeah. I don't know, it scares the shit out of me sometimes. Like, I don't mind, like, joking around, like, stuff like that. Like, I'm pretty sure I've done that before. I've acted like I was deaf.
Or, like, retarded. Or this and that.
Something, you see those videos, people walk out of, like, the handicap stall acting like a retard. Someone else is in there,
Yeah.
It does, like, suck, but I don't think you can get that sensitive towards the situation. I think the only time I've ever acted like I was deaf was when someone would try and talk to me in the elevator at work and I don't want to talk to them or something. That, like, I don't know if it's like a guest or something. I would just be like, I do that little bit of sign language or something, and they understand because they'll stop, like, talking to you or something. Or with it.
Unless they know ASL, and then you're screwed.
Oh, shit. Well, see, the one thing I like to do sometimes is, like, kind of change it up. I like to do, like, voice impressions and stuff and act like I have an accent sometimes. So when I go into a store, I'll be
I think a lot of people actually do that.
like, how long can I hold this? So I'll be like, I'll be at Dollar Tree paying for something, and I'm like, yep, just this and that. I had to get me a couple of things, and just, like, do a couple, like, accent. But you just gotta make sure you don't slip up. Like, you run into someone you know at the store, and like, why the fuck are you talking in an accent? You didn't have an English accent when you left high school. What happened after? I accidentally hit my head, and next thing you know, I speak English.
Well, I'll just go the next town over, and then you're gold.
Next town over?
Yeah.
That's true. Nobody's going to know you over in that next town.
Right.
You'll be known as English Tom over there, and regular person over here.
Right.
I like those little jokes though, because what's all right? So I'm really fascinated into documentaries now. I'm really fascinated into things that people are interested in. When I started doing fill in the blank, basically I'll ask you, since you've been on my podcast before, we can start doing fill in the blanks. So shoot me a topic that you're interested in. Shoot me some topics. You're like, I don't know, what do you mean? I'm like, anything from pizza, food, anything you want to talk about. You want to talk about certain things in history. My friend was into Victorian surgeons. I listened to a podcast on Victorian surgeons.
Wow.
I learned about Robert Liston. The guy known as the fastest knife in the West End. He has a 300% mortality rate, killed 3 people in 1 surgery. And I learned about Jeremy Lister, the guy that was named, they named Listerine after.
Huh.
And then this one dude, his name's Harriet Mueller or whatever. And he was a famous cosmetic surgeon, like back in the day when people wouldn't... You know when you got syphilis, your nose fell off? Did you know that? I didn't know that.
Well, I thought you had like a brain thing.
You had a lot of stuff that went wrong with you. That's where the white wigs came from. In England, those giant fancy white wigs. A lot of people thought it was because it was meant for the rich, because the rich had syphilis. The whole reason why, like, you get these giant lesions and stuff, like giant burnt, like welches and like these things that start succumbing onto your head and on your body. When your nose, that's what they thought about Michael Jackson, that he had syphilis because his nose fell off. Well, see, what happens is your nose literally falls off. People were getting them surgically put back on, and this was that one guy that was doing it, Mueller, and he was fixing people's noses. And what they would do is they would take like a block and put it on, press up against it to hold it in spot, and strap it around and hope the cells would reconstruct. Like when you get a finger chopped off and they just sew it back on and hopefully it grows back, the nerves all grow back. It's the same thing they were doing. Well, he was the one that was popular for doing it with World War II veterans, or not World War II, but war veterans that were like coming back from war with like a limb or a nose blown off. Like a dude got his fucking like a piece of skin pulled off from his leg and like rolled and grafted to make a new nose and look like a trunk. But it was a new nose, and like he was doing inventive stuff like that back in the day. And the whole point of back then was you wanted to be quick, because surgery back then they didn't have any anesthesia, like any of that stuff. So like when it comes to Robert Liston, and like Robert Liston was known as the fastest knife in the West End. He was so popular. Surgery back then was a show. How we have movies now, and I learned all this.
Right, I knew that.
Yeah. I learned all this by looking up articles, man. Like, just for my buddy, I printed a bunch out at school and just started looking them up. I know stuff about, like, Bigfoot, what is it? The Church of, the Church of God or whatever it is, or it's like that UFO call.
Hale Bob comment, that one?
Which one?
No, it's a different one.
It's, what do you call it? Damn it. The Society of something, but it was in 1997. A bunch of people killed themselves for a UFO cult. Yeah, it was on TV. The guy was a popular pastor or whatever. Like I did a whole podcast on that. Like,
nice.
It's crazy to see. Like you find these specific topics and you go deep down into the rabbit hole. Like one I want to do soon is on a show that just popped up on Netflix. A movie, actually, a documentary, the Stanford Prison Experiment. You know what that is?
Oh yeah.
Okay, I watched that documentary, so I'm ready to do a podcast on it. And I'm like, it's just crazy to think, like, those scenarios, people take grasp and hold of situations. Like,
all right, then some of my topics would be Nikola Tesla.
Thank God, dude. He married a pigeon or was in love with a pigeon.
Yes, he was.
Thank God, dude. I actually have articles on him, man, Nikola Tesla. I was hoping someone would be interested. My mom doesn't know who he is.
There's that one. That happens.
I'm like, dude, he invented the Tesla coil. She's like, well, what's that? I'm like,
half the shit we have in this world is because of him.
Him and Thomas Edison.
Yeah.
And Edison was like a crappy person compared to Nikola Tesla. Yeah. They fried an elephant.
Okay, all right. So Tesla, Manhattan Project.
Yes, I have the Manhattan Project. I have both articles. What do you want to do?
Project Montauk.
I got that too. What do you got? I got all those articles right in that friggin' thing right there.
And then the other one, which related to the Stanford prison one.
MK Ultra?
MK Ultra.
Have you heard? I've done so many spin-offs of MK Ultra.
But I'm more, I guess, out of all those, I'd be most interested in Montauk, I think. Because that one deals with people going out of this dimension and coming back. And that's just craziness.
Have you seen, what is it? There's so many government projects. I used to just really dive into this stuff and start looking at it all because we have so many programs.
And they're all compartmentalized. You know, they're all doing their own experiments.
You know the movie Men Who Stare at Goats?
Yeah.
You know that was real?
Mm-hmm.
Freaking Fort Bragg out here in Maryland. Or not Fort Bragg, Fort Meade or whatever it is. Out here in Maryland, that's where the goats were and everything. That's where they did that whole experiment thing. It was known as the Jedi Project. Then it was known as Operation Stargate. Was the whole actual mental, like, psychological warrior things. And that's all because we saw the Russians were doing the same thing. They were diving into that realm, but they realized it was all fake. It brings to the whole aspect of remote viewing and all that.
Right, we had people who did remote view correctly for us.
Yeah, but there was no substantial evidence that were no.
There was.
When they remote view, what they always go back to is the same thing with Osama bin Laden. With Obama used people to remote view his location. They pinpointed 3 areas, and Osama was in between the 3 areas.
That's interesting. But with the ones, I don't know, way back when with the Russians or whatever, I guess what was this? Was this Cold War or is this before that?
Probably the Cold War.
Yeah, I remember actually seeing stuff that we had guys draw these like structures and things, and later to be revealed like the exact same structures of like secret hidden base stuff, and like just like the person drew it like they were right there, and that was like those were few and far between, like what you were saying, like sometimes it was, you know, a blurry, you know, type of an answer, but we still had successful ones. And that stuff's really interesting to me. Like, you pair that around with... Maybe we should talk about it. It's like... No, that's such a deep rabbit hole. Just the whole psychological...
Are you into more psychology type? Paranormal? Well, you know, I have an article over there. It's on plant perception. People that believe in the plants that can perceive things and, like, having the ability to speak to plants. And it also leads down to what happened with the giant movement on plant rights.
We could do that because I totally
and
agree that they do.
I have astral projection. I have all that shit. Like, there's so many government experiments that are really weird. Like the weird project, Truth Wizard. Project Truth Wizard. You know what that is? The whole idea that there's a certain number of people in the world, which I have taken the test for, is online. You can do it, and it's certain people can detect lies at 80%. Like 0.25% of the population in the world has
hyper observance.
Yeah, it's like being able to sense bullshit, and I'm really good at that. Like, I've been able to tell, like, okay, you're lying to me, and I think it has the whole thing to do with like something I came to grasp with about being an empath. There's types of people that feel emotions and like get certain vibes off people. Yep. Like, I definitely have that. Like, I definitely feel like I can catch a vibe. It makes me really good, like, when I podcast with people, because I can sense how the tone of your mood is going to go. I can sense what you're interested in, and it makes it easier to talk and be able to form myself to kind of your way into thinking.
Well, yeah, and an empath, I'm sure you've run into things where, like, you're feeling some way for some reason, you don't know why, and then all of a sudden you find out the connection to it, or like it was somebody else in some
event that happens to me a lot.
Or like kind of getting like energy drain from certain people.
Like I only go to the grocery store really early in the morning, which I'm still going to teach you my mom's trick to grocery shopping. Dude. Did you get her pretzel things that she got? She got me some stuff for Easter.
No, but she just made me a sandwich.
About to say I got some stuff for Easter that they left at Michael's house. It's his pretzel thing. So if Michael hasn't eaten them, you're more than happy to
those.
have them.
Oh, dude, I destroyed those.
They're good.
Oh,
right?
yeah. From
That's
Harriet?
her treat, yo.
Oh, man, those were nuts.
They literally have nuts on them.
Yes, they do. Do they? They have
cashews and stuff.
Oh, yeah. I was going to say they have the M&Ms.
For people that don't know what we're talking about a frozen dessert. It's pretty banging.
Yeah,
pretzel
it's
sticks
legit.
rolled in caramel with chocolate chips and other types of trail mix stuff. But, you know, it's cool, man. Like, I'm glad you're down in here.
Me too. I'm excited.
You don't know how much work I had to do to set up that room for you.
Oh, yeah. Thank you. I appreciate it.
I did that all yesterday. I moved.
Dude.
My whole room was in here. Everything. My TV, dressers, everything. All that got shoved in there. And then, dude, it was...
Well, this is looking good in here.
I like this a lot better. Well, this is the official podcast room. This is how it's going to be. I just need to get some more posters and stuff.
It's a good setup.
I'll show you my room in a little bit. But like, it's just how my room was set up a little bit. I'm trying to get more of those band posters and stuff. And then, like, you know, I wanted to make it feel comfortable. I'm really fascinated with this painting.
I am too. It's wonderful.
And my mom's like, you know, you don't. Why do you want that in there? And I'm like,
it's a classic for a reason.
It's a beautiful piece of art, man.
Right.
And it's cool.
The whole world appreciates it.
Exactly. And it's not, I appreciate all forms of art, because you gotta look where, it's just like how you gotta look with, how you think about the world. Like, the way certain people are and certain things are is just how you really choose to perceive it. So, I mean, that's a good way to, I guess, end on it, is just, you know, you want to perceive the world in good aspects of reality, and I'm going to perceive your time here with us. It's awesome, dude. Because we're going to be doing some shit, bro, for real.
This is
We
good.
definitely got to hit up the beach or something. I haven't been, but you might get me to go.
If that's happening, I need to get one of your family to get me on a surfboard, because I never really got good at surfing.
This is the worst place to try it.
Was only okay. Well, I figure I'll just get a really long board.
You might want to try bodyboarding. I can probably teach you something like that. Michael will probably go out with you too. But you'd have a lot more fun bodyboarding because you can't really surf down here. There's not really a place to, like, there's guys that try and surf here.
Sounds like there's, a lot of history here with surfing. Like my dad and a whole bunch of other people.
Back in the day, man, but like it's starting to get weird now with laws in Ocean City where you're not allowed to, you have to go to certain streets and stuff, and then even then it's super crowded with other surfers, and like, they have a no smoking thing on the boardwalk. Are you trying to get out of smoking? Because I can help. I got a vape for you if you want a vape.
No, I also don't want to blow my face off. You hear about that?
Fuck off with that shit. My mom does the same thing.
Did you hear about it?
Yeah. The dude was an idiot. Left it in his hot car.
There are only like 3 people that's happened to.
My buddy blew up his side of his foot, burned it real bad because he well, see what happens when their vapes blow up is they mod it.
Right, that's what I was reading. All like the comments are like they put too much nicotine in the solution.
He took a screwdriver and fixed the battery and messed with the atomizer from the stock default thing to it to make it shoot faster and burn up higher so it gets more smoke.
I used to put my own coils on.
Yeah, well, this kid messed with the battery and the power outage on the thing, and it fired too much to the battery, and it caused the battery to explode because it was in his car for so long, it was heated up. That's his fault. My same thing with my buddy. He gave it a modded battery and stuff and tried fixing it on his own with a screwdriver and shit. Next thing you know, he's like 300 pounds, steps on the thing, and the thing's thin like a stick, just snaps and explodes. Like, you can't be doing that. Like,
that's scary.
I don't mess with any of my stuff. Like, what do you smoke cigarette-wise, though?
Probably one a day right now.
No, I meant, like, what do you smoke, like, brand?
Whatever's available. I'm not, to be honest, I don't really care for smoking cigarettes. I only do it. It helps my stomach. But I definitely still smoke weed, that's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that either.
Nah. It's nothing wrong with that at all.
It's a nice chill out effect. I mean, I don't believe alcohol is bad. I don't believe cocaine or any of those drugs are bad either. I just believe you can't take stuff into excess.
It really is. I'd like to figure out more about that blurry topic of, like, where's that line, because yes, you can take like every drug, whatever, and technically, quote unquote, be fine, but most people, they're hooked on heroin the first time they do it, you know what I mean? And it's like, what is that?
See, now I've met people like that I've worked with that have tried heroin, like all those types, cocaine, crack.
Me too. No, me too.
And they're like, I just did it on the weekends. I was like, what? And they're like, yeah. And like, when did you stop? Well, when my boyfriend OD'd. It's like,
yeah.
Holy shit.
Okay, that's
But it's like,
but right.
They had to be like, I'm not doing this anymore. Like, some people do it to take hold of a situation of their life because it's gotten out of control and they want their kids back or something. It's like, you need a drive movement. You need something like, you can do it. You know how my mom stopped smoking cigarettes, right? She just didn't want to do it anymore.
Just cold turkey.
Yeah, it's like...
That's how it's been whenever... Because I've stopped a few times and, for like years at a time. And whenever I did stop, it was just felt like it. Just because I felt like it, and then I just did.
It's once you start looking at things like an addiction taking control of your life, it's like, do you want to have something that's the boss of you, or do you want to be the boss of your own life?
Right.
And that just changes your perspective on things. And if people walk around with more of a thought like that, like, that doesn't mean you can go around saying, fuck you to the world, but it just means, like, hey, like, be yourself. Every step you should take should be something that you want to do.
Like, I agree. And that can go the other way, too, because... Have that cigarette. Have that extra piece of cake. Have that, it's funny. Somebody was just talking to me about, like, their some friend Satanist or whatever, and I was gonna start doing the whole devil's advocate because I recently read some funny article from like the Church of Satan or something, and they were just saying like, have that extra slice of cake, do this thing for you because it's about you, and that's sort of like their shtick is like it's you and nobody else, so you do you. It's just it gets to the point of like selfishness and nobody else matters, and
That's what that cult was called, Heaven's Gate.
Heaven's Gate.
That's how I remember
Heaven's
it,
Gate.
yeah. He said the devil thing, and I figured it out. My brain was like, "Hey, it was called Heaven's Gate."
They had to wear the Nike shoes. Or
They
the
all
Adidas.
killed themselves. You know how they killed themselves, right?
Yeah, and then the
What?
thing over their head, and all the same clothes, and
They laid in their beds with bags on their heads, plastic bags to suffocate themselves after drinking some poisonous toxin. Then they all did not die on the spot. It took 2 to 3 days. So imagine.
Really?
Yes. On the third day, because of the rate the bodies decompose, this is what they found out. On the third day, there were 3 people left. Think.
Wow.
You're in a room with like 39 other people.
They're all dead.
They're all dead, and you're just sitting there. They're all in bunk beds.
What are they
So you
doing?
got some dude above
They
you
had to have
dead.
gotten up though, like
No, they sat there, let their bodies starve and everything, and eventually at the end, those 3 people got up and ended up just killing themselves.
Okay.
And one dude, I think the one guy that survived left the house and brought the cops back. Yeah.
I didn't know that.
That was scary because, like, you gotta think, you're sitting there laying in a bunk bed and your buddy's above you dead. Like, god damn,
40
when
other
is it gonna
people.
hit me? And like 24 hours later, you're like, shit, I have this bag on my head and my brand new Schnikes.
And I gotta take a shit.
Yeah. It's just weird to think that, like, I thought it was like all of them drank punch and they all died. No, they like set everything up and it was in a house. Like,
Yeah, it was at a certain time. They were waiting for the Hellbop comet or whatever it is to go by so that they could catch.
Well, the 2 guys, one was a nurse at a mental institution, and one guy was a person that was in a mental institution, like that was there being a patient, and the assistant,
What?
the doctor, helped them get out. Like, not like he was able to be released, but like he listened to the mental patient. Like, this mental patient has all the information. Then he later came out and became, it was known as they had secret code names like that were known as like the King Aliens, and they created their own biblical thing from it. Like, he's the chosen
Wow.
Jesus. He's like he's Jesus in the story or whatever.
It's the chosen Zoltar.
Yeah, like it's ridiculous, but it's like when we talk about that being like a weird like cult following instead of being a parody religion, like what's the difference between Pastafarianism when they research and they believe in a giant spaghetti monster, which is taught to teach the how stupid it is to follow a certain religion in education. Like, it shouldn't be taught like that.
Yep.
And now there's certain things, like, I believe if you want to believe whatever you're into, you want to believe the earth is flat, go ahead. If you believe in Scientology, that's still bullshit. Sorry. But, like, anything you have to pay to get ahead in the thing is just ridiculous.
Yep.
But the whole aspect, like, what makes this world more comfortable for you? I think that's what we're all trying to do, is create a type of like virtual reality or self-image. Like me, Chris, and Evan were just talking in the beginning of the podcast about being the Matrix. Like, are we in a simulation? Like, I wouldn't want to know I was in a simulation if I was, but I also wouldn't want to live in one either, even if I was promised anything. Just the fact that I'm a robot's battery, no way.
I think the simulation would just restart again or something, like, if it did, because once the cover's blown, the interest is lost.
How many times have we found out we're in a simulation?
Dude, oh, man. You just remind me of something that I kind of forgot, but like, I remember this one time. So, how did it go? It was like somebody said something, and the way that they said it, it was like it was a simulation. Not like they were talking like a robot. It was like there was somebody behind them, like a puppeteer, like just everything was set up for me to be experiencing. Like, it was like just a setup I was being toyed with. And like it was the weirdest feeling. I only had it for a split second, and it, like, I could not let that go the rest of the day. Like everything felt so fake. Like, and then the other time was, you know, when like like when you used to listen on like to music on the internet when it was slow and it would be like really low quality.
Yeah.
Like less than 128 kbps or whatever it is. It like especially when you hear like drums, like cymbals and stuff, the would just be like such a weird sound. Sound did that one time, just in normal everyday life, right? But it was like, and it was probably just, you know, kind of like an auditory hallucination or like a auditory illusion, I guess. You know, like sometimes you think you see something when you turn your head really fast.
Yeah, like mirages and shit.
It was probably like that, but all the same, that happened where audio kind of like went to a low bandwidth setting for a second, like, oh, I have to buffer, and that's what it felt like. It felt like the sim slowed down for half a second, and it was buffering, but like that was enough for me to be like, what the, you know, like,
yeah,
like, and I could, the rest of the day I could not shake that. I was like, that was too freaking weird.
You know what makes me think is what happens if deja vu is like us rewinding, like the aliens or whatever, rewinding the simulation because we figured something out that we weren't supposed to. They had to take it out. Like there was a blip in the system.
Love that.
And we just got rewinded. It's like, that's why. Did he just say that again?
It's like a mix of, oh, what's that movie? Jupiter Ascending? You ever see the movie?
No.
I can't remember if it was good or not, but it did have some cool ideas in it. I think it's a Wachowski sisters movie, which is The Matrix.
Mm-hmm.
And it deals with, it's got Channing Tatum and I don't remember who else. But they have, anytime like the alien's cover is blown or like something that they need to fix happens, like they're able to like do it without people noticing. And whether that's like pausing time or rewinding it a little bit or just, you know, trying to do things under the radar. Like, I thought that was an interesting idea, because I mean, I've heard plenty of alien stories, and that deja vu thing you just said, I can see that.
It's just difficult to think. Like, virtual reality is like, how do we know if we're able really to take grasp of our own life if we don't even know what real life is?
But if we did know, we wouldn't act the same way. It's like, I actually think that this is all, like, okay, I'm using this God term loosely. Like, let's just call the universe God. We'll say it that way. Like, all of this is one thing, not a million bazillion different separate things. Like, you're separate, I'm separate, this table's separate, blah, blah, blah. It's like, this is all a dream that God is having, essentially. And in that, I'm losing my train of thought.
It's hard to think that we're the only...
Oh, only ones are... Oh, that's what it was. The cover, the cover would be blown. It wouldn't work. If that was the case, if all of this is like again, I'm using this God, I'm not saying Christian God or anything, I'm just using the universe and its existence. I'm just calling God, okay? If all that is a dream, right? Just a big long dream, he'd have to forget, and I'm using him, he'd have to forget himself in order to feel other than God. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Because if he knew that he was God, if I was Cory right now, but like I still knew that I was God having this dream, I would act totally differently. And if like you knew that you were actually God just having this random dream, like you would act totally differently.
Don't compare me to Morgan Freeman.
So it's like God would have to forget himself in order for it to work. Otherwise the cover would be blown. And it's the same idea. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, it's just fascinating, like, because I feel like we're all in a veil.
Yeah.
We're all like, there's some people who talk about they can see beyond the veil.
Mhm.
Usually it's like younger children can kind of see ghosts or see something like deja vu all the time. They're getting a little behind the curtain scene.
You're an empath. Your mom's got some stuff. I mean,
But it's just difficult to, like, because, like, see someone that doesn't believe that, like, I'm not even 100% you're into believing it either. But, like, it's real, man. Like, there's certain, like, psychic type abilities out there. Like, they're not as drastic as, like, being able to change into another person's skin or
Right.
being able to do something like that. Like, but, like, it's not X-Men, but, like, there's certain things out there where it's like
There are
some
unexplainable
people
things.
have, like, a deeper connection either to this to some other thing that we don't even fully understand yet. Like the whole idea of there was a ghost test they did where, like, a bunch of people created a ghost in their mind and believed in it so hard that they actually used a Ouija board to try and contact it and thought that it actually contacted them and everything, and it was like a failed experiment. But at the same time, it was like they tried it, they had all this proof and evidence, but the evidence wasn't reliable because it's so hard to get someone into the paranormal. It's so hard to get someone to experience or believe something if they haven't experienced it themselves. So it's where we really see, like,
that's so true.
going into heaven. Like, there's people that come back from heaven and see angels and all that stuff. You're never gonna truly believe them, even though you might have faith. You're not gonna truly believe them until you've seen it and experienced it from yourself.
This is what I would say. I don't believe them, but there's no way that I would say that they're wrong.
Yeah, because I have no evidence. I'm not a religious person.
And
I don't
also
have any evidence.
less, like, to go on than they do.
Yeah.
Like, they at least have some sort of experience. So for me to just try to discount somebody's experience, that's just, I don't even know what that word would be. That doesn't make sense.
Well, the whole idea that someone's experience, it's also their light. It's also you're taking away what might give them the strength
Validity.
to carry on. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
if you're telling someone they're invalid, then
Right.
that's just not right. I mean, they don't want to be. Nobody wants to be dishonored or something. It's a way of attacking their person. So it's like they want to believe it. Let them believe it. You don't have to believe them. They're not forcing you to believe them. I believe if you're like a Mormon, you're trying to conform people. Don't do that. You shouldn't be able to push your aspects or your wants or needs onto somebody else to try and conform them into your views. Let someone think how they want to think. Because if you try and run someone else's life, you can't even run your own.
Right.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's a good thing to definitely think about, and I think there's more people out there that need to kind of take realization. Like, why are you going to spend so much time trying to fix somebody else when you should just be working on yourself? Now, we don't want to be selfish and work on ourselves 100%, but at the same time, like...
That's a Jesus story right there.
If help isn't...
God's first stone.
Yeah, it's like if help doesn't want to be needed, and, like, they don't believe they have a problem, let them come to grasp with it themselves, because you're not going to be able to... Like, with addicts, you're not truly going to be able to change an addict unless they want the change.
Right.
So, it's a good thing, be a little bit less controlling in society, and I appreciate you taking the time to be on the podcast, Cory.
Yeah, man.
Dude, it was cool to see you again. We're definitely going to shoot the shit. I wanted to end it because I want to talk to you a little bit more without the recorder.
Right, and we could probably do this for hours, so...
Exactly.
Keep
We got
going on the next
the whole
episodes.
summer, bro.
Right.
All right. Stay tuned for the next episode.